Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Off the Ropes, Episode 5, WrestleMania Review Show. I'm Bret Sweeney alongside Brandon Ogden, Jeremy Hubbard, and D. Kyle Owens. How's it going, fellas?
That was the worst opening to a show that I can remember.
I mean, that's an awesome song. I don't care about the person, but the song's awesome.
Great song.
I mean, here we go. I mean, it's apropos, right, though? I mean, we'll be talking about that, unfortunately. People want to hear us talk about it, so I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point during the show. So
here's my booze.
I was hoping to be playing another intro tonight, but unfortunately, Vince McMahon had other plans.
Ugh.
I don't know. I don't know what those plans are.
He never know what those plans are.
Probably not. You're definitely correct there, Kyle. He probably doesn't. But we'll talk. We'll start with the I'm going to call this show the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay, 3 parts. We got WrestleMania Night 1, the good, the part that I didn't get to watch live. What? Now I know you guys had some trouble watching. Did anybody watch it live? Kyle did, I think, right?
Everything except the last match. I watched the last match when I got home.
Did you guys?
No, I actually picked it up. I don't know. It was after midnight when I started, so I managed to stay awake for about an hour and a half and finish the other half on Sunday. But no, I don't think any of us watched it live except for KO then.
Yeah, because we were otherwise.
We were together. So.
Kyle was doing it. I mean, Brandon was doing everything I was, except he was watching the Final Four on the computer down for me, so he wasn't watching. I went home and I paid the $10 for Peacock, and then I immediately canceled it. Which in the future that may not be maybe different there, fellas. Y'all might be coming to my house for the pay-per-view portion of it. Unless y'all
negative. I thought we were starting with the good. Why are you bringing up the
good? Sorry. The good is night 1, the bad is night 2, and the ugly is Raw.
Oh my gosh.
That kind of fits, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I wasted 3 hours last night.
I legitimately fell asleep during it. Like I was that bored, and it was probably the worst. And y'all could correct me if I'm wrong. Probably the worst Raw after Mania I've ever seen. Like it was for all the build up and how good the weekend was. Like WrestleMania, in my opinion, was fantastic. Night 1 was amazing. Night 2 had a couple bad spots in it, but overall I thought it was a good product on night 2 to make WrestleMania as a whole a great show. And then just to come out with the dud of Raw after Mania, especially after the big news of them merging with Endeavor.
Well, here's my thoughts.
Product.
Here's my thoughts too. Like if it would have been any other Raw, it would have been okay.
Yeah, right.
The Raw after Mania. Whew, okay, so hold on. We're going to get to that. Let's start with night 1. We'll start with the opening match. We had John Cena, Austin Theory, and also I kept our things here. Didn't do very well myself. I believe we had a tie with Jeremy and Kyle with 9 correct picks.
Good job, Jeremy.
So congratulations, you two.
I was wondering. I couldn't remember. I was like, man, I think I picked that, but I'll take 9. That'll work.
And Brandon had 7, and I had 6. I think I guess I picked before I knew. If I'd have known Vince was booking, I might have picked differently. I'm just going to be honest.
I don't think Vince booked WrestleMania necessarily. I think he booked a couple of matches. Yeah, I think we can all figure out which those are, but I don't think. I think Triple H had a big hand in this. I think what we saw of Vince was last night.
Yeah, I still think he had quite a few hands in there. I think, but anyway, pretty good match with Cena in Theory. I mean, did it? did it do anything for Theory though? I don't think so. I mean, low blow. Come on, how many times are we going to see him hit him in the balls? That's like their go-to move in WWE. Oh, with nothing else, a DQ, just hit him between the legs and get the win. I don't like that, honestly. It doesn't do anything. Cena can take the loss, I think. It would help Theory. You don't need to protect him. He's John Cena, so I figured Theory would win. I don't like the way they did it, but what's you guys' thoughts on the match?
Well, I mean, honestly, if you're not going to give him a clean win, then it has to be because you're setting something else up, right? Like Cena doesn't need to. If Cena loses, gets pinned, no big deal. But it was almost like they were booking it, looking ahead to something else happening. I guess. I mean, it was weird. You're right. Like, why does that have to be the way it was? You knew Cena's willing to put the guy over. I don't know, man. You're right. It's just the whole the way it went down would have. I mean, I know Cena's probably not. We're not going to see the dude for a while, right? But it's almost like it was like it was a normal. It could have been whoever, and we're going to see him again on Raw next Monday having a rematch. Is the way it kind of felt. It was weird. It was not normal, in my opinion.
I think it kind of plays into Theory's gimmick just by the fact that he'll do anything to win. That's the only thing I didn't mind that aspect so much. I was kind of curious as to why it was so short, why it was such a short match. It only went about 10 minutes, 10, 11 minutes. I could have seen them, go a little longer. I do think, kind of like I said last time before Mania, I think they're setting up Theory to be the new legend killer because we saw him kind of start something with Ray last night. I think that's kind of what they're setting him up for. I'm with you though. I'm with both of y'all. It should have been a clean victory. He shouldn't have had to cheat to win, but I'm okay with it because it kind of plays into Theory's heel gimmick about doing whatever he can to win. So
I don't think anybody's ever going to take him seriously though if he, if he doesn't win sometime clean. I mean, yeah, you skate away on occasion, but this is the case right now. If you're trying to protect somebody, this is okay. In this case with Cena, you don't need it. You don't need to protect Cena.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is the only match I got to watch on Saturday. So, but I thought it was a decent match. But yeah, I knew Theory was going to do something along those lines. I didn't think it would be the low blow, but obviously thought he was going to do something sneaky, and that's exactly what happened.
I didn't think Theory would go Mike Tyson and start biting Cena's ear. I didn't expect that.
And didn't he bite his hands a couple times too? And
yeah. It was all honestly. I was like, is this like he doesn't know how to hide? He's trying to tell Cena something. Is this how he's doing it? I was like, what a joke, man! Like, man, at least just yell it out or something, but don't bite. I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand the reasoning. I mean, I get it what you're saying. Like it's just kind of his thing, but I don't know. It is what it was. It was as excited as they tried to make it to be the opening match. It was kind of like, okay, this is not really moving the needle for a lot of people right now for that to happen the way it did.
It was kind of a dud.
Well, Daddy's back, so I'm sure he'll be getting a push. I'm sure. I mean, like I said, I thought it was an okay match. Didn't like the way it. I mean, I knew Theory was gonna win. I just didn't like the hole between the legs hitting thing. Next up, surprisingly, this tag match was ridiculous. That's the spot where they all where Ricochet got up behind him and dove. Oh my gosh, that was incredible. I didn't see the Street Profits winning. No, none of us picked that one. That was nobody got that one right. We were all had different picks. I just with who I thought was going to win at the end of the night, it just didn't match to have the Street Profits win. Of course, we've already had that match. We'll talk about that later. I don't understand. Hey, let's just have another match. Okay. I thought that would lead to something, some kind of build, but yeah. So it didn't. I thought the match though overall was a great match. I mean, surprisingly, we kind of talked about this, I think, and we were kind of about this particular match, but they I mean, you got Ricochet in there. There's always going to be something cool. The Viking Raiders are big guys, but they can fly and can do things off the top rope. You had Strowman climbing up on the top rope and almost took the ring down whenever he fell. I mean, it was the ring shook. Some interesting spots in this match. I thought overall it was a really great match for what I expected out of it.
Yeah, I thought the huge spot off the turnbuckle when they had however many guys stacked up was amazing to watch. And you're right. You knew that was going to be the case with Ricochet. He does stuff like that all the time. I think it's because we all kind of talked about this last week. We kind of thought the Street Profits turn was going to happen at some point soon. We thought maybe that was a spot. Why let them win? And you're right. And then I thought, okay, expecting a Raw after Mania to be any good, which I guess we were all wrong for thinking that would be the case. Okay, maybe it happens last night, right? Like maybe there's some kind of thing there, and it just never happened. But good for them. I mean, I think they are very entertaining. They're fun to watch, but it was not. I think because of other things we're expecting out of them, that was nowhere on my radar for sure. But it was what we thought it was going to be, a spot fest. You know, I think that's what those matches are thrown together for, and it did that. It was definitely more interesting to watch than what we may have assumed. It was too early for the bathroom break, but it was close.
I going into it, I thought that was going to be a good match. I didn't think that they were going to. I mean, because we saw kind of variations of that match leading up to it, and it never disappointed. So I figured on Mania, on the biggest stage, it would be great. It honestly exceeded my expectations. Ricochet's shooting star press, where it looked like he just suspended himself in midair so he didn't hit the table, was magnificent. Dawkins hitting Strowman with a shoulder tackle on the. I mean, that kind of stuff. That Tower of Doom spot. Montez at the end with his big jump. I mean, the athletes that were in this ring were fantastic. It was a very exciting match. I could have seen this one go a little longer. This one was, 8 or 9 minutes, but it was a spot fest. And that's what it was. But
it was like boom, 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 boom,
yeah,
boom. It was
I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good match. I was surprised to see the Street Profits win, but I'm not upset about it. What I am upset about, which I know we'll talk about later, is that they just blew this match with KO and Sammy the next day or Monday night on Raw. So I don't, again, we'll get to that. But for the match itself, the match at Mania, I thought it was a great match, very entertaining. Just surprised at who won, but not disappointed about it.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good match. I like the Street Profits, and they're a great tag team. But I'm still also waiting to see, kind of when they separate them and one of them turns out, or they both turn heel, and maybe that's coming soon. And I think something's changing with them soon. I just don't know what direction. But it was cool. It was a really entertaining match, and I mean, it was kind of like one of the maybe a closest match to you get like to an AEW type match with people flying around and exciting stuff happening nonstop. So
yeah, I said overall, I think it was really good, but I just what followed the next night or not 2 nights later, just
I think we need to
ruin that
preface
match.
all this. I think we need to preface all this with Monday night ruined all of the thoughts we had about Mania, because we thought they were going to build off this and they completely did not. So
well, it worked out that we actually did this tonight, because if we did this last night, it would have been a completely different show.
We should have done this instead of watching that crap.
Honestly, yeah, that would have saved some time. And I the sad thing was I watched this because I love college basketball, but I didn't like the matchup in the final game. So I watched Raw, had the college game on record too, and I went through and watched Raw, and I was like, this is the way I ended Raw. I was like, huh?
That's how I ended Raw.
You were asleep. I mean, I stayed up. I was the bad part was throughout the show, I thought it was going to be better than it ended up being just because of the way it ended. I was like, and then I went over and watched and skimmed through the game and was glad I didn't waste 2.5 hours on it. I mean, it was back and forth, but UConn was, honestly the better team there. And
if we're going to talk about, we just need to move on. But we'll get, because I don't want to say something, but we'll just wait.
You want to talk about Raw so badly, don't you?
No, I just want to talk about how much of a waste of time it was. Like, You said you thought it was going to be better, and I was like, I kept watching, thinking something has to happen, right? Like you can't let this opportunity. I was actually telling some people who don't even watch wrestling today. They were talking about it, like I can't believe they do a Raw on Monday after WrestleMania. I'm like, yeah, it's the biggest one of the year.
I knew Jeremy was watching it because he said, "Hey, we got 36. They got 36 minutes to do something," and I'm like,
"Well, they ruined it. Like
they did something all right.
Yeah, they pooped right in their pants. Like
they did.
What are they doing?
Hey,
or in our pants. I mean, they put it on us. You know, like I felt like an idiot when I literally went and laid down at 10:15 and thought I literally wasted my Monday night.
Hey, at least you didn't pay for that.
It's true. I feel bad for those people that were in attendance. Like 17,000. You sell out the Crypto.com arena again and put on.
They had to pump in crowd noise. I watched the after show. Of course, I told you all off there. I watched Fightful.com, Fightful Wrestling shows. Man, they have some great content. And I watched the after show, and Denise Salcedo, she lives in Los Angeles. She does the Raw post show, and she came in about 30 or 40 minutes into the show, and she said that the show was quiet. Like there was not it was like they had to pump in noise, and she completely wasted her time going to that show thinking there was going to be something happening. And yeah, because usually that particular show is not completely negative. Then you turn over and you go to Alex and Kate on the Select channel. They're just basically crapping on WWE and everything they do wrong, which they had a field day last night, which is why the episode I sent you guys was so funny. But that show was actually, they were both just, I mean, it was, it's a bad show and both shows are just completely crapping on. But we can go to the next match and another great match. Night one, Seth Rollins and Logan Paul.
Oh, man.
Oh, first off, you had Logan Paul coming in out off of a, like, what are those the zip line? Yeah, coming into a zip line. That was pretty cool. He's always doing something cool for his entrance. And Seth Rollins, I don't know what he was wearing, but it looked like something Becky Lynch should be wearing. I don't know what that was. Then he had that top. It was a throwback to somebody. The pink little outfit he was wearing.
That's the Shawn Michaels special.
It's a Shawn Michaels thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's who it was. I knew they showed it, but I couldn't remember who it was. That's before my time. So I wasn't watching wrestling back then. But yeah, I thought the entrances and the whole spectacle was cool. And then the match, of course, these guys, Seth Rollins makes anybody look good anyway. And then you add Logan Paul to the match, which he's phenomenal. And with all the spots they can do. Again, this match, I knew this match was going to be great, but it was just over the top. I mean, one of my favorite matches probably, as far as the two just going at it and making the moves that they did just look easy.
I said this last week. Logan Paul could be a superstar in WWE if he stayed there and he was there full time. I mean, he looks the part. He is. We mentioned last week he's a natural heel. Like people love to hate him. I thought the entrance. I thought it was his entrance, especially, was so bad. Like, yeah, it's a zip line. So I wasn't watching it live, right? But I was on Twitter and I was trying to avoid everything. But I happened to see a picture of him on the zip line. I thought, man, he must have done it from the top of SoFi. So I come home and I'm watching the replay and he literally is walking down and then gets on this little zip line. It's not even much of a zip line. But to him, he made it act like he acted like it was this great thing, right? Because that's just part of who he is. And he's got the mic on so he can talk to the crowd. And I'm like, this guy. But he's great. He is really great at what he does. And Rollins is so, it's hard to say underutilized, right? Because he's a big part of what they do. But the guy could be, he's amazing to me. Like when you talk about all the great guys and Roman and Cody and KO and Sammy, Seth's up there, right? Like he could be the guy if they wanted him to be the guy. And I'm not going to say he carried Logan Paul because I thought Logan did a great job, but it was one of the few matches as I watched it back that I didn't fast forward through it all. There were some of them I was like, yeah, we'll just keep skipping, but you wanted to see everything that was going to happen in that one. I thought it was a great match.
Yeah, it lived up to the hype. We knew coming into it, I think we all agreed that it was going to be a great match. The entrances were WrestleMania epic entrances. How about the conductor out there conducting the crowd to do Seth's song? Everything about it was WrestleMania worthy. Had the KSI out there and the Prime Energy drink mascot.
Who had never heard of KSI? Because I hadn't.
I've never heard of KSI in my life.
I thought it was first. I thought it was R-Truth.
I thought it was going to be Jake Paul in the
Well,
That's what I thought it was going to be, but
what did you say?
Oh, we lost him.
Oh, you lost me?
Oh, there you go.
There you are.
You said you
No,
thought
I thought it was going to be Jake Paul too. So.
Okay.
Oh.
See, not me. I was thinking it was going to be. I thought it was going to be the Miz. Honestly, right? Like that's who he's trying to get back at. We knew the Miz had to get involved. I thought that might have been the way. But either way, yeah, KSI was like Michael Cole thought he was like, oh my God, it's KSI. I'm like,
who?
Yeah, who is that? Who
Right.
exactly?
KSI. Huh? Who's that?
The match though itself, the storytelling in the match was what was really good in my opinion. With Seth had been knocked out twice by Logan Paul's titanium hand. Well, what did he do in the match? He stomped on the hand to take away that advantage for Logan Paul. And then Logan still hit the punch, but couldn't capitalize on it because of the hurt hand. So the storytelling was fantastic between those two. And then the spot where Logan got a little too cocky and did the Triple H, spraying the Prime Energy. And then without looking, he just dives down and dives on his buddy KSI, then the stomp to end it. I'm happy that Seth finally got a win on a pay-per-view. Like you said, Jeremy, I don't know the right word for it either. I think underappreciated maybe for WWE because he is so talented. And I think
and he's always there.
He's always there. And if Roman didn't have both titles, Seth needs to have a title. I think Seth deserves a title. He deserves a title run.
Well, he's one that could go after Roman. It would be believable right now.
It would be, but they've done that. Roman's already beat him in this run. But I thought it was a great match. I don't think it was my favorite for Saturday. There's other ones that are coming up, but it was definitely a fantastic match. I enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I went in thinking, oh, this is going to be a fun one, and it didn't disappoint. What it's funny is we talk about Logan Paul being a superstar. Well, part of the news yesterday was that UFC's group bought WWE. So we get these emails at work, like betting odds, and it was like, now who's going to win a WWE match first, Logan Paul or Jake Paul? And is there going to be UFC like co-branded, pay-per-views and matches now with UFC fighters and WWE and
$99.99. Get it now.
Or ESPN Plus.
Yeah, but it's like which UFC fighter is going to cross over, and is Logan Paul and Jake Paul going to do a dual tag? Like, they'll have a UFC fight one night and then the next night tag together, and so we'll see what Vince does with all that.
Oh, I don't trust him doing anything with it, honestly. Okay, well, the next match. Speaking of a strange, aftermath, we had Becky Lynch lead in Trish Stratus with the win over Damage Control, and then the cryptic tweets that I don't know if y'all saw the cryptic tweets that Bayley sent out, and then she was on the show and then removed on one of the 500 script changes in the middle of the show. I don't know if y'all heard about that, but there were at least 3 or 4 different scripts changed in the middle of Monday Night Raw, and she was removed off. She was removed off of it, so she wasn't on the show. But she had some weird, kind of some strange tweets. Probably what we talked about last week. This probably is going to be the end of Damage Control here. Don't know what they'll do with Bayley. If they'll, her team's going to turn on her. She goes face. She gets tired of them. She takes them out. I don't know, but it looks like that's going to be the end of that. And then we've got this, Hall of Famer and top person championship run here. And I don't know where that's going because of the injury that happened in the other match tomorrow or the next night. I don't know who's going after these two next. The match for itself.
We found out on Monday. It's Liv and Raquel.
Which,
in the short term.
Yeah, but and just real quickly on that doesn't make sense. If Shayna and Ronda are hurt, why give them the win at Mania if you're just going to turn around and have Liv and Raquel have a contenders match the next night on Raw and now they're content. That makes absolutely zero sense.
And it was supposed to be, instead of that match, it was supposed to be 2 triple threat matches, and the 2 winners of those matches would be competing for the number 1 contender against Bianca Belair. But that was one of the changes they made, and then they threw this tag match in with making them the number. I don't know. Anyway, I thought the match was okay. You could tell. I mean, Becky and Damage Control were fine, but you could tell Lita and Trish just they're old. I mean, I hate to say that because I'm old too, but I mean, they just looked it. I mean, it was.
We're not out there in a ring trying to do matches, though.
Exactly. No way.
But it would be fun. It would be fun.
It would be fun for a couple of minutes until I took a shot, and then I couldn't get up off the mat afterwards.
We'll get you a Gunther chop one time, and then and that's it.
No, thank you.
Be a spot fest, wouldn't it, boys?
I'd just do a quick little pin, try to do a little cradle and get out of there real quick.
The only people that I wrestle these days are my kids.
Yeah, because you can beat them.
Yes, exactly. And when they jump on me, like my son will jump full. He only weighs like 30 pounds, so it doesn't hurt unless he lands somewhere certain. He does every once in a while. Otherwise, it's good. He's not going to hurt me. Brandon probably knows what I'm talking about. He's got one about my age as well.
If he doesn't theory you, you're okay, huh?
Yes. He theory kicked me the other night, and it did not push. We had to stop the match. It was stopped. But I don't know. What did you guys think of this? Is it kind of just to you guys too, or you got different thoughts?
The one thing I did like like you said about Lita and them, yes, but I did like the Lita and Io, high spots because Lita was known for that back in her day, and she still did that well. And then Io, that's genius of the sky. So those somersault spots were pretty cool. But I was waiting for the end of this match, because you just expected someone, either Trish to turn or Bayley to turn or Dakota. You just thought someone was going to turn on somebody, and it never happened. So that's whole match. You're like, it's cool, but I'm ready for the end to see what happens, and nothing happened.
I really came away from it more impressed. If you remember last week, I kind of told you, like, Dakota and Io to me are kind of like, two of these things are not like the other. Like, you have these 4 Hall of Fame level, performers. I remember watching the match thinking, man, Io is really impressive. Like, she's really good. And I'm not one, like, I know like New Japan has good stuff, but just because it's not something I've been around a lot, like when Japanese wrestlers come over, for the most part, like when Nakamura comes over, everybody's all fired up about it or whatever. And so that's not a style that I really am big into. But you watch, Io, and I was like, man, you really have to appreciate what she does and how good she is. I thought she stepped in, and Dakota is what Dakota is, but I thought Io really looked really good and really fit in with that group on Saturday. I thought it was a great time for them, which is why I kind of thought that turn was going to happen, especially with the tweets or whatever. And after as well as they performed, I thought, okay, it's time for them to break away. And it still may be, as you mentioned, they write Bayley off, was kind of weird, but because I think Bayley was on the WWE Instagram or Twitter on Monday during the day hyping up Raw too, which I thought was weird with all that going on. So, but overall, I thought it was good. It was what we thought it was going to be, limited with Lita and Trish. But I really was impressed with Io more than anything from the match.
I figured going into this match, this was my least favorite match of Saturday night. I could have done without this match, and I think Saturday would have been an A++. This match is the one that I dislike the most on Saturday. I love Io and I love Dakota. I love Becky. I love Bayley. I think all 4 of those women are fantastic. They're great professional wrestlers. Lita looked like she was moving in quicksand. I mean, she just looked slow, and why, again, here's another creative decision that makes absolutely no sense. Why give the tag titles to Becky and a part-timer? Like, that just anyway. But I didn't like this match. I mean, it was okay. The match was okay. I thought Lita was slow as molasses. Trish looked decent. And then all the other 4 women did their thing, but not impressed. I did think a turn was coming. I thought the split was going to happen at Mania. It didn't. But if you notice, not only did Damage Control, EO, and Dakota come out last night. There was not even a mention of Bailey. Commentary didn't even mention Bailey's name. So I don't know what's going on with Bailey. I hope she's not hurt. I don't think she is, but I hope she's not hurt. But I think the best course of action for Damage Control is to keep EO and Dakota together, keep them as a tag team, whatever. But let Bailey go off on her own and do her own thing.
What if they brought in like Asuka or somebody? And Asuka kicked Bailey out of the group.
And then Asuka's in that group with EO and
Dakota.
No, Asuka needs to stay on her own too. I don't.
So you mean what if they have a female version of Judgment Day? Is what you're asking? So that's probably what they're going to do. Actually,
I was just thinking as far as because Asuka didn't win on her own. She comes and turns to her buddy and her partner to back her. To maybe,
but Asuka didn't lose because of interference. So her looking for
tried to cheat and it didn't work.
Yeah, but she didn't lose because somebody interfered. So I don't see why she would go get help.
I'm not saying I'm just throwing something out there.
You sound like Vince McMahon right now, is what you
say. No, let's not even compare that. Because that's a pretty low blow, Kyle.
His beard's a little different.
Yeah.
And the hair color. Have you dyed your hair today, Brett?
I don't have much hair to dye. No, I haven't. He did look like a couple decades younger on the show.
Oh, did he?
The dark hair. Yeah,
it was terrible.
But no, I just feel like what do you do with the Damage Control? Because I do think you need some female groups of some sort. I think it helps storyline telling because they have enough trouble telling it like it is. So if you don't have a group to tell them with, then you're going to end up with these random tag matches every week for no reason at all, no storyline. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They just stick people. Oh, these two need to fight this week. There's nothing. Okay, why are they fighting? There's no number one contender on the line. They're just going to fight this week. Okay, yeah, that's cool. That's why I like having the groups because then you can build some things in, like they attack this group, and then they can kind of feud for a little bit, and then it's like something means something. That's the problem with WWE. We talked about before. You have these wrestling matches that mean absolutely nothing. Why am I interested? Like, why?
Kind of like if say they were to put Omos and Elias.
That's exactly like that, Jeremy. It's exactly what we're talking about. I know you just threw something at the wall there and kind of put it in the randomizer machine, but yeah, that's exactly it.
That would be so out there.
How about Positive Ali and Bobby Lashley?
How about I know what we could do. The first match that we're gonna have on the Raw after Mania is Elias and Omos, and we're gonna let it go for about a minute. And then we're gonna have a whole commercial-free first hour.
Hey, do y'all know how much? Okay, so 3 hours of Raw last night. I know we're getting way ahead. 29 minutes of matches, fellas.
This is garbage.
That is the amount of time there were matches last night.
And there were how many? Like six or seven?
There were several, but there was 29 total minutes of matches.
You're looking at like maybe 3 or 4 minutes average a match.
But how many minutes did we waste? I don't want to say waste because I like it, whatever. Of Seth Rollins.
Oh. Yeah, that was
walking out to the ring and walking back. What are we doing?
Well, and what bothered me too also is you hyped us up all night long of this tag team match, which may have actually been a decent little match for the main event. Hyped us up all night. Did the ring entrances, made it so grand.
Hey, how much time was wasted on Roman Reigns' entrance? Twice.
Yeah, that's it.
15, 20 minutes.
That's at least 15, 20 minutes of the show right there that they booked out. So yeah.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. Anyway, we're gonna have some fun with that. I know we're all chomping at the bits to.
This is bad booking of this show because we should have just led with this to get it all out of the system.
I know.
We went to the Vince McMahon School of Booking. Is what we did.
Oh.
Anyway, that match I was not impressed with. But go ahead.
So next up, we've got the match of the Mysterios, Ray versus Dominic. I actually thought this was a good match, guys. I mean, considering where Dominic has come from, he is so much improved. I know Kyle would prefer Omos over Dominic, but But I actually like his character now, and I know he's not great in the ring, but what they're doing with him and his storylines really help him. It's one of the better ones that they've done. They've really done a good thing with Dominic. I like the Eddie Guerrero entrance for Ray in the lowrider. Thought that was cool. Kind of a throwback. It's kind of odd because Dominic is like trying to be like Eddie, and then you bring Ray out, and he comes out with the Eddie Guerrero, the lie, cheat, steal. We bring back the LWO, fellas.
I like that.
I hope they really run with that, honestly. And it's not just I'm gonna hand you a T-shirt and then we don't talk about it again.
We don't know what's going to happen now.
Yeah, well,
yes, I think they should run with that for sure.
I like that. And bringing Escobar in there under Ray's tutelage, I think that's cool. They can use that to build him up because they haven't really done a whole lot with the Legado del Fantasma. They brought him up to the main roster, so this is a good thing for them to get them in there. But I think this was a great match. Did anybody else pick? Everybody picked Dominic except for Jeremy. Jeremy was the only one that had Ray. Or I know you picked it, and you probably, I don't know if you really thought that or you just went with Ray. What do you think about the way it ended, Jeremy?
No, I think I told you. I mean, I just, I didn't see a Hall of Fame weekend end with him losing. I thought that had to happen. I thought it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I told you guys, this kind of a storyline I was a little bit tired of, and I guess maybe I still am a little bit, but I thought that they, in the moment, built it very well. Even the Dominic entrance, right, I thought that was fun. It was kind of like, we still can't take the guy serious because here he is thinking he's this hardened criminal.
Prison. Yeah, that was hilarious. I forgot about that.
And in the oddest of all odd things that happened, Snoop Dogg's bringing Ray out. Okay, whatever. But no, I thought the match was a lot better.
What was the low rider, Jeremy? He's probably got a lot of those sitting around his house.
Well, I mean, I'm with you. We'll talk about this, I know, when we're talking about night 2, but Snoop Dogg, what a role he played in this whole thing, right? No, seriously,
he earned every dime. Every dime he earned it.
Kudos to him for all that he did. And I thought that was just another why is Snoop Dogg bringing out Ray? Anyway, I thought it was a great match. I thought that they did a good job of telling the story in that thing too. And I'm not always a big fan of involving the family at ringside like they did. I'm not saying it was bad. That's not something I'd want to see, but that was a good match. I thought they had to let Ray win, be in Hall of Fame weekend or whatever. But I thought it exceeded my expectations just because I think they were low going in the first place, at least for me.
And I don't think it's over, Jeremy. Sorry to disappoint you.
Well, they'll probably drag it out. Here's the thing. This is the time of the year where we may record Raw and watch it a few times. But for the most, after the 3 hours last night, there's no chance I'm watching it for 3 hours next Monday live. I may hit the recorded version, but no chance I'm doing that again. I'll go outside and cut my grass with a pair of scissors.
What did you say the chance was, Jeremy?
Oh God.
Oh gosh. He's going to. I shouldn't have said it. Sorry. Sorry, Brandon. Sorry, Cal.
What was the chance?
No chance, boys. No chance.
Okay.
I'm out of here.
Set yourself up for that. I had to.
It was not even intentional, but you're right. I did that. I'm trying to think of what other phrases I can't say to keep Bret from playing music. But no, it's probably not over. And it's not. The story's not being told, but it is. I am less negative about it than I was 4 days ago, probably.
I'm with you. I thought the match was better than I anticipated it being. I didn't expect it to be good, but I found myself watching it and being entertained and involved in the match. Michael Cole on commentary, you would think he was a representative of Rey Mysterio. Like it was so awesome to hear him how into the match he was. And I'm gonna disagree a little bit with you, Jeremy. I like the fact that the family was ringside because that's what set Ray over the edge. So I think in order to carry out that storyline, the family needed to be involved for Ray to go where he needed to go to win that match. I thought Dom's entrance was great, having the LAPD with the corrections vehicle, and he came out with the mask and the handcuff. I thought it was great. I thought both entrances were great. Reyes was awesome too. The match, I enjoyed the match a lot. I picked Dominic to win because I thought Judgment Day would have helped. But I'm okay.
They tried.
Yeah, they tried. I'm okay with Ray winning. I think the family getting involved was cool. Bad Bunny got involved, which I think is going to set up, in my mind, what should set up at Backlash, if I was booking the show, what should set up is Ray and Bad Bunny versus Dominic and Damian Priest at Backlash. But we know that probably won't happen now. So
I think that's too obvious. It's got to happen, right? And I mean, I think even someone that's hiding in the weeds can't mess this up, right?
You wouldn't think.
Didn't they do something with Bad Bunny last night too? Yeah.
Damian Priest destroyed Bad Bunny last night.
Well,
threw him through a table.
After 3 days, it's hard to remember what day that happened, but I thought it was last night.
Yeah, Bad Bunny was sent to the local medical facility.
Yeah, hospital is not being used anymore. It's medical.
That is a Vince line.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought the match was good though. I enjoyed it. I think I said beforehand that I wanted this story to be over at Mania. I'm okay with it continuing if they can keep the story going. Now, if it starts to fizzle out again, then they probably should have just blown it off at Mania. But I think
hopefully Bad Bunny will help that.
I think so. Now, at Backlash, it should probably be done.
He is ridiculous, though, as far as like someone that's like not in any kind of sports world or, I mean, because Logan Paul is an athlete. Mm-hmm. He's like a singer.
Yeah.
And the things that he can do. So putting him in, and then, of course, being from Puerto Rico, I think that's going to sell tickets. That's a smart business move there for WWE there.
You know, and where does the LWO stuff go? Are they going to continue that? Like, is it just like, okay, that's what cool thing we did for the weekend? Or are we going to keep doing that? Because
I'll tell you where I think it's headed. I think this whole story is going to lead up to Survivor Series, a War Games match with LWO versus Judgment Day.
Okay, sign me up. I can go with that.
Maybe not War Games, but a match, a big match at Survivor Series.
Oh wait, that's the other good programming.
Oh man, I can't wait for that.
Real quickly, the stark contrast between WWE and AEW. AEW, John Moxley's out there bleeding like a stuck pig, and they just let it go. Finn Balor splits his head open, and they immediately stop the match. They're like, whoa, there's blood. Hold on, wait a second.
Okay, yeah,
purple blood at that.
Well, you heard Triple H say in the press conference, I don't know if you guys watched the press conference or not. I did. I'm a weirdo, but it was cool to hear Triple H say, yeah, it happened. We couldn't even tell how bad it was because of all the paint, right? Yeah. Like, and how about the dude took staples in the ring to keep going? Like, that's this impressive. Dude, like, I have all the respect in the world for Finn Balor. I think he's great. Like, he's been a guy that ever since he's been there, I thought, man, this is the guy I want to like. And I hate, that's why I kind of hate the Judgment Day thing, like whatever it is. But man, for that dude to do what he did and take those staples, and I sent you guys a picture of the tweet of the cut afterwards. Like,
just a flesh wound.
If that happens to me, like, I'm done. I'm not doing anything.
Just lay down and take the pin. Dude, pin me 1, 2, 3.
No, I'm rolling out and I'm done. Like, you can DQ me, but man, what a performance by that guy on the next day. But that's one other thing. But you're right. We don't talk about AEW, but the difference between the two, it's funny if you didn't know who was on there and you were just looking at the presentation, you're like, oh yeah, that's the PG show, and oh yeah, this is MJF and Moxley carrying around forks. You know, like how many people carry? I've never carried around a fork in my life, and these guys, where do they come from?
Only when you're in a non-DQ match, you got that fork in the boot. Just you never know when you're going to need it.
You might have Dom might have one, because he's a tough prison guy.
He is. He might have a shank. He might have one. His homies in the tank may have made him a shank.
I would fall on it in my pocket and stab myself. Is what would happen.
Well, speaking of Finn Balor and Judgment Day, Kyle, the next match.
Well, I also have a few quick. I have a few quick thoughts about the Mysterio match.
Brandon.
So first off, I did like the Dominic entrance, but it would have been better if they could have got him into jail last week and did it like had him get arrested again.
Is that the story?
Yeah, they should have had him get arrested. Like they shouldn't have waited till the last second to make the match to begin with. They should have made this match like in March. They waited till the day before.
He could have been training in the pokey, man.
Or they could have made
And
the
then,
match. Then the next week we show highlights of him at his parents, then him getting arrested right before Mania. We don't even know if he's going to get out of the slammer in time for the match, and so they wheel him straight from the slammer in the police vehicle straight to the ring, and he's only on probation just for the match. And then they handcuff him back and haul him off.
Put a fake ankle bracelet on him during the match.
Yeah.
The question we haven't answered is, why was he in handcuffs before the match? What did he do? Like what? What? Continue, Brandon. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He's a prison man. He's a bad boy, Jeremy.
And then Kyle mentioned Michael Cole's announcing, which I love. But we talked earlier about Vince had his fingerprints all over Raw last night, and we don't think he had anything to do with Mania. That kind of proved it because, you could tell Michael Cole had freedom. Normally you used to always tell Michael Cole had Vince in his ear, feed him, kind of like, hey, you can't say this. And you could tell that night he had the freedom to kind of, hey, this is, to tell the story. And with him and then the family and everything just had the story. The match was great too, but the storytelling was just impeccable. I mean, everything. There's only one other match, two other matches that maybe had me more emotionally invested, and we'll get to those. But this one definitely had you emotionally invested, no matter which side you were leaning.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, the next one was a great match as well. The Women's SmackDown Championship.
Man.
Woo! Charlotte Flair takes the pin. Rhea Ripley, the new SmackDown Women's Championship. We all had this one correct. It was time for Rhea to take the championship. Now, and here's a question that doesn't really have anything to do with this match. It kind of does. What brand is Rhea on? Does anybody know? What brand is Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn on?
Rhea is now a SmackDown.
I know but what was she on?
She was on Raw.
Are you sure?
Yes.
What about Kevin and Sami?
They are floaters, but their main brand is Raw.
Okay. See, that's the kind of thing right now that they
thought
have a problem with.
Well, Sammy's main roster is SmackDown.
Oh, because you're right. He's with the Bloodline.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. Oh,
all that's all messed up. So does this mean that Rhea can stay with Judgment Day because now she can just float wherever she wants? Or, I mean, how does that? That's the part that bothers me is okay, so is there rules? Can you just float back and forth? Because what they've done is they only have so many good storylines. Those storylines are taking up both shows, and then you don't get some of these people that need airtime and need wrestling matches. They don't get on. It's kind of off topic of this particular thing reminds me of that. It's kind of just up in the air because for a while you had that wild card thing where every 3 months you could have someone come over, and then oh, well, if you've got a title, you can go over. They've all been on these rules, and now.
Well, I wonder, I don't know if you guys saw this. There was a tweet in the last couple of days about the list of names that Fox doesn't want on SmackDown anymore. There's a list of 6 or 7 people that they don't want on there. So maybe they're going to have to do some shuffling to get some guys over there, like Karrion Kross and Scarlett, names that Fox doesn't want on their show anymore. Or is it
Vince doesn't want the people they rehired back on the show? If you notice, there was another thing that was talked about. Of the people that were rehired by Triple H, how many of those were on Mania? Not very many. Braun Strowman.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think about Braun. Yeah. Yeah, that's about it.
You've got Karrion Kross, Scarlett, that were nowhere to be found. Johnny Gargano.
Chelsea Green was at Mania with Sonya Deville. That was a pointless match anyway. So,
but just think about all the ones they rehired. None of them made their Mania card, and they've been off TV for a while.
Yeah, but I mean, there was only so much time in Mania. What were you going to put them in? You know what I mean?
They haven't been.
Come on, man. We put Omos on the Mania card.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying.
I mean, we can come up with a match. Just
100%.
Put them in the shuffle machine, and we can make a match.
You should have. What should have happened is on night 2 when Lashley went out there just to smile at the crowd and hold that ugly trophy up. What should have happened is LA Knight's music should have hit.
LA Knight
top 2 match.
He wasn't on there. What?
No. In LA.
LA Knight. It's an easy
Yeah.
pop. It's an easy pop. I mean,
But
goodness.
I'm telling you, I waited Saturday. I waited Sunday. I sure waited last night on Matt Cardona to walk through the entrance.
Nothing.
Zach Ryder, woo, woo, woo.
Well,
You know it.
I had this moment when Matt Riddle. Here we are talking about freaking Raw
we
again.
We gotta get through this. We gotta get
Just
through
move
it.
on. Yeah,
Okay,
let's go.
Charlotte Rhea.
Rhea. All right. What do you? My thoughts were the match was incredible. It was Rhea's time. There was some great spots in this match.
Charlotte nearly broke her damn neck.
Oh my gosh, that was scary.
That was scary. If it would have been an inch more, if she would have landed more on the top of her head, she would have broke her neck. And that was
in a nice little scrape on her face for that.
Yeah. That's what worried me.
For me, it was the number 3 match of the weekend. I mean, just all things considered, I thought it was cool to see Charlotte kind of break character a little bit after the match when Rhea was celebrating to recognize what she's getting to do. I think going in, we all knew it was going to be the case. We didn't expect it to be a dud, and I think that she could carry that. She could carry the belt for a long time. I mean, it's who are you going to build it? Well, there's a few people that could take it from her that are built up to that level, but I don't see any way they take it off of her anytime soon. I mean, she could carry it for. I mean, gosh, pick your time, really. But I thought it was a great match. I thought she's just so physical, and I thought they made Charlotte look very strong, and I thought, and in doing that, you make Rhea look stronger as if she needed it. But I thought it was great all around. Like I said, other than the 2 main events, I thought it was the best thing that happened.
I really enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't have high expectations going into this match, just simply because I'm not a huge Charlotte fan. She's good at what she does. She's good in the ring. I'm just not I don't like the fact that every time she comes back, she's handed a title. But I'm with you, Jeremy. Her actions at the end of the match, her smiling and kind of realizing, like, I think it was a couple of things. We all know that Charlotte wanted to be in the main event. She wanted a main event WrestleMania, and she didn't get to co-main event. But I think those 2 ladies went out there with something to prove. And they brought the house down. They absolutely killed it. And I think what we saw out of Charlotte was she was proud of the work she did, and she was proud that she just put over a younger talent, which Charlotte never does. Mm-hmm. I thought the action in the match was fantastic. Like I said, that only spot that scared me was when Charlotte nearly broke her neck. I mean, that was tough. But the riptide from the ropes, the avalanche riptide, like. Ooh. That was impressive. I thought the match was fantastic. It was worthy of a main event at another Mania. With the story, with the bloodline, they didn't have a spot for the main event for them. I think any other Mania, probably they could have main evented night 1, and I would have been completely okay with it. It was a great match.
Yeah, I thought it was great. You're saying Jeremy was saying it was his 3rd. I thought there was a clear top 4 matches of the, no matter what order you put them in. I thought there was a clear top 4 matches, the 2 main events, this one, and then we'll get to the Gunther Sheamus one too. I thought that was kind of the clear top 4 of the 2 nights, but this one could go in any. But it was a great match. Charlotte's the best woman they have, but I'm not a fan of her. But she's great in the ring. But it's just like she doesn't have any character, but she carries that division. When she's there, and you need her there, because if she's not there, the division suffers.
She's a better heel.
But it was
honestly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
She does a face character, but because it's like, how can you be that great? Your daddy's the whatever. You've been handed all these belts and not be a heel. Like she does a good heel character. I think that's the reason why it's hard. Like right now, she's done a decent job of being a face. But that's not her natural. She's a natural heel,
and she's probably going to be a no. Go ahead, Brandon.
Rhea's in a heel group, but you don't dislike her. Like you like to root for Rhea. She's in a heel group, but you don't really treat her like a heel.
And I don't want to cheer for Charlotte. I want to boo Charlotte. I don't want to cheer for her. So yeah, I think they were reversed in that match, and they need to just. I mean, Rhea has to be a heel because she's in a heel group, but
exactly.
But it's kind of like MJF. He's a heel, but people love to cheer him. I mean, when his music hits, everybody pops. And it's kind of the same thing with Rhea. When her music hits, people pop because they want to see Rhea. They don't really care if she's a heel or a face. They just want to see Rhea. And I think she'll hold that title. I don't see her losing it. I think she has it next year at WrestleMania 40. Mm-hmm. I don't think she's losing it until then.
No, and there's nobody, we talked the other day about, what do they do with the women's side? And I think letting people chase her, and they're just not going to be able to. No. She's too hot right now. And I'll say this. I think Charlotte's going to be gone for a little bit. There's a lot of reports now that she may be taking some time off to do some non-WWE things. And, who knows where.
7 months off.
Well, she may do it. I mean, she doesn't need the money.
How about some AEW things? Oh, wait.
Well,
her husband is Andrade, so
yeah,
but he's not on TV either. So,
well, I think that they kind of gave us a hint of who the next challenger is going to be on Raw. We'll talk about that, but that's where it's going next, and I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
You remember their NXT match they had right before? I think it was right before Rhea got called up. They had like a last woman standing match in NXT. And it was, Raquel threw Rhea through a glass window. Like, it was an outstanding match. I think Raquel got slammed through the stage. You should look it up. The NXT match between Raquel and Rhea was phenomenal.
Well, the next match is one none of us saw coming. We did talk about this person that we love to see him on the show. Wasn't sure if he was going to be there, but we had The Miz come out with Snoop Dogg, and evidently The Miz had tweeted and Instagrammed all this, calling out anybody having an open challenge, and I never saw it. I went back and looked. Did you guys see that?
No, that never happened.
But evidently Pat McAfee saw it because he accepted the challenge and came out to a huge pop as always, and it was a short, quick match. But I absolutely loved every minute of it. Then you got the football player involved in the match.
George Kittle.
Kittle with that. Yeah, you get the two football players together. Yeah. I thought that was great. He looked, they could sign him to a deal. He looked.
Don't even sign him to a deal. You had Lawrence Taylor main event WrestleMania one time, and they're his football group. So why not? Let's just do it again.
Hey, that was awesome. It was. Anytime Miz gets beat up, I love it. Honestly, I'm a big fan of that.
I hate the guy too, but what he does, he is so good once again at what he does. Because I thought the best part of the match was to hear him come out on Sunday and complain about how he had to take on two guys and he got was in a handicap match. It was.
Who he reminds me of?
Who's that?
Is MJF.
Oh, don't cuss MJF that way.
Not the same level though, but. He's probably the best heel though. You know what I'm saying?
He is.
Everybody hates the Miz. It's the same.
Well, I think I said this last week. Is the Miz is MJF is what we always want the Miz to be.
For sure. Mm-hmm. Well, and the Miz was that at one point, honestly, right? Like they put the belt on him at Mania and all this stuff. Like that was what 8-9 years ago now. I guess WrestleMania when it was in Phoenix, I think it was 30. But that's you're right. That's what he could have been long term. He could have been MJF. But MJF.
That's why MJF needs to stay in AEW before they ruin him.
Well, he definitely is not going to WWE now.
Tell you that.
Chance. No chance.
Oh, I did it again.
What was that count? What's the chance?
No chance in hell.
What is no chance? Sorry.
I could have. I'm not gonna lie to you. I enjoyed seeing Pat McAfee out there. I could have done without this on the card. I think it was kind of a waste of time.
It only took like 2 or 3 minutes.
A waste of time that could have been given to the fatal 4-way tag match.
They gave the extra time of this match to Omos.
They gave the extra time in this match to Roman's entrance for the next night.
Man.
I didn't mind it necessarily, but I could have done without it. It didn't help the show. It didn't hurt the show. It was kind of harmless. Just a way to get them on the card. Yeah, no, I think it was cool.
I wish he'd have stayed and at commentary with Corey Graves. Honestly,
Wade Barrett's growing on me though. Well, I'm liking Wade.
I know, but it's just McAfee's so funny.
He is, but I'm not a fan of the Miz, to be honest with you. I get his gimmick. I'm over the tiny balls joke. That's played out. I'm over it.
Tiny balls.
And that has Vince McMahon written all over it too. But I mean, it is what it is. I was excited to see Pat McAfee. The crowd popped. I loved it, but I could have done without this match.
That's one of those. If you were there in person, that would have been cool.
Yeah,
to hear the pop and all that. But yeah, no, I liked it. I mean, it was just okay, but I liked the fact that I got to see McAfee on TV. So
I do say, Kyle, it probably went a little too long.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing to have McAfee come out and drop him, but then to get Kittle involved, and I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But
it was just too much.
I actually think I got up and got a drink or something. It was perfect. It worked out.
But it was interesting to see, like, the Miz didn't have not one counter. Like you thought like the Miz is going to counter at least once, but like the whole time he was on the defensive, and that was kind of, and I guess the Miz was, hey, he's going to get all three surprises of the weekend. The only surprises were for the Miz.
Yeah.
Surprises.
Oh, okay. Well, the match of the night, probably the match of the weekend for me. There we go. Or was it this, Kyle?
Well, it was both.
Okay. We'll do a mixture, combo mix there.
I love the crowd. I love the crowd singing along to Sammy's theme. I think that is, oh man, Sammy is white hot right now. Sammy and KO, but Sammy specifically is white freaking hot, and I love it.
Do you think they planned that? Like, do you think there was ever a thought that was going to happen? I don't think so either.
No chance.
It was a Daniel Bryan type deal.
But even at Daniel Bryan's hottest moment, like, I don't think it's what Sami Zayn is right now. Like, you think about the Mania where he had to take on somebody at the beginning and then at the end to win.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I still don't think he was at Sami Zayn's level right now. It's unbelievable. You're right, man. Like, the crowd goes nuts for that guy. And I'm like, at first I was like, why? And then I'm like, I'm catching myself being pumped up for him too. Like, his entrance, as much as I love KO, and if I'm KO, that's kind of like KO's kind of getting overlooked in this thing, right? Like, but when that music hits, man, even Owens is like, man, I love this stuff, Yeah. So you're right. He's super hot, and it is fun to watch. It's the highlight of anything he's on, honestly, for me.
I honestly had watching the match. I was glad I got to watch because I was having to watch it at work. So I was watching on a computer screen, which is fine, but I was so glad to get home and I was able to lay down and watch this match and just enjoy it. And
Peter, I thought you were going to put up on the wall, Kyle.
It's too
he
much.
Promised that, actually.
Yeah, you said
that's too much.
Put it up on the wall.
I don't know how to do all that. All I know how to do is get the news anchors to sound decent. I don't know how to do anything else. I thought, but this was the match. I was so glad I was at home and able to enjoy it. And the near falls in this match were out of this world.
What about the 1D kick out?
Yeah, I mean, and but the ending. We're talking about storytelling, Brandon. With others, this storytelling in this match was, I mean, from the opening bell, it was just storytelling on top of storytelling. The 3 haluva kicks at the end to Jay are just so poetic. I mean, it was poetic justice for Sammy. I am so happy for Sammy and KO. I love them. Not just because Uncle Kevin is what I call him, but not just because of that. But I know I got a We the One shirt on, but that's just because I like the shirt and I don't have a KO shirt yet. But
you got to get you a was it KO Mania and
Sami Zania?
Or what about the WrestleMania champion shirt we have now? We have shirts for the winners.
Yeah, I saw that. I may need to get me one. I love the match though. This was main event worthy. We were talking about Charlotte and Rhea not being able to main event because of this, but then the same thing I said about Rhea and Charlotte proving why they should have been in the main event. These 4 individuals proved why they should have been and deserved the main event. It was a great night, a great way to end it. The Usos' reign comes to an end. 622 days, I think, a ridiculous amount of days. Interested to see what happens with the bloodline following this, because if you notice, Jay took the pin from Sammy. It wasn't Jimmy. Jay took the pin, and I think they did that intentionally. So interested to see what happens down the line, but a fantastic end to night one. It was picture perfect.
Yeah, I don't think they could have scripted this match and this whole thing. I think it worked out. Now we talked about, Sammy being hot. Could he go after Roman? But I think this worked out, having Sammy and KO together, taking out the first line of the bloodline. And I think that's the way it should have ended. They did perfect for night one, honestly. There wasn't really anything that I just didn't like. There were some matches that were, but everything overall on night one was solid or amazing to me.
Just real quick about the Sammy KO thing. Here's the other part of it, that the human side of it that makes us all appreciate what they're doing. I don't know who your best friend is, right? But imagine being with your literal best friend that you've known since you were a kid and getting to go. I can just imagine in that moment, like, as idiotic as I may be with my friends, for us to be like, man, we're at the top of our game. We're on the biggest stage in the world, and 80-something thousand people are all about us right now. Like, that's amazing to me. And I think that's the human side of it. I don't know, man. Like, the whole story's been great. I don't know when it ends or how it ends. Like, when is it going to? I don't know. And who's next? Hopefully I don't know. But it was worth the payoff of a year's worth of stories, in my opinion. I thought it was the storytelling. We talked about this last week, but from beginning to end, there's so many small parts of that story they have been consistent with, and they've hidden in there, and they've come up later. And you're right, Jay taking the pin, like, that's going to come up at some point. Maybe not with them again, but on the bloodline side of things. And so, are they going to screw this up now because Daddy's home?
Probably.
But man, I'm glad at least we got this much out of it before that happens.
All right. Anybody got any more thoughts on night one?
Brandon, you're awfully quiet over there.
Sorry, I'm listening to y'all talk. I'm doing some work too, and it was a great match. Night one was the more loaded night. When the card came out, I told Bret, I was like, of course they're going to load up night one. The night we can't watch it live, but we'll get to night two, and I enjoyed it too, certain parts of it. But night one was great, and that Sammy, like you said, storytelling just great either way. And I was glad they gave Sammy and Kevin the titles, because I think the ending would have been good either way, but it's better how it ended.
Well, Jeremy, like you were talking about with the emotion, like you said, imagine being with your best friend. Well, imagine the whole story with that emotion. KO saying, I want nothing to do with you anymore. Like, I'm done with you. And Sammy saying, hey, we don't have to be friends. We just need to team up and take down the bloodline. And Kevin's like, dude, I want to be your friend. This is what you're not understanding. So all those emotions just had you invested to a point where it was almost inevitable. They had to win. Like, this has to be the payoff. And I said this on Twitter, like, this is the payoff that you're supposed to have at Mania. You're supposed to have a story like this that leads up to Mania and concludes at Mania. It's not concluded, but the perfect ending right now. I mean, basically a chapter in the book that's closed.
And that's what Triple H said in the press conference after Mania was. He was talking about Cody and Roman, but at the same time, he's like, the story never ends. We got to start it back up tomorrow, but that chapter's done. Mm-hmm. And it's going to look different. I don't think we're going to – what we got out of that, I think we've gotten the most we can out of it. There's going to be other pieces to it, but what in the world else could you do besides what they've done? You're right. Just so many things about it. And it, at the end of the day, they made Kevin Owens a face, right? Like, you managed to do that. That's pretty impressive. Yeah. You knew Sammy was, but you made Kevin Owens a face. And really people I even said this last week, like, you expected something more to happen. Like, what's the turn? What's the twist? And you didn't get it. And I was like, man, I'm glad we didn't get it. I'm glad we got exactly the way we got it when it was all said and done. And night one had to be loaded, by the way, as a night overall. It had to be loaded because you couldn't let what was going to happen at the end of night two overshadow that, right? Even though we had this great match at the end of night one, it wasn't the ultimate story. Honestly, to me, it probably was. I was probably more invested in that story than Cody and Roman at the end of the day, right? But for the most part, you everything on night one had to be, which kind of made night two a little blah, whatever. But they did their best to make it what it was leading up to the last match. So I thought night one was as good a night of a Mania as we've had since they've gone to 2 nights. Truthfully, I mean, it was really good. It was really
Brandon,
good.
it was better than our night one we saw last year.
Well, yeah, it was, but I thought our night one last year was really good. Actually,
It was. Night one was really good last year, but that's how impressive this year's night one was. I mean, we had a good last year, but it was better this year.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, let's go to night 2.
Bathroom break. First 2 matches. Got them out of the way quick.
So first match is Kyle's favorite of the night. He gave this a 10 out of 10 star.
10 tacos.
Brock Lesnar versus Omos. And just Brock physically showing how strong he is. Like we didn't know that.
It's what we talked about, right? Let's just prove that he can F5 him. Let's prove he can. Let's make it a challenge, and then let's let him do it. And it's exactly what we thought. And,
even though he's already done that to the Big Show before, and
and in 2 years he'll do it to another fat guy. You know, so I guess there's hope for us to get there if we want to. But okay, great, he's strong. We know this, and it was at least you're right. At least they got it out of the way. But they talk about how important that match 1 spot is on that card. It was an odd choice, I thought, to be match number 1.
It kind of, let's get the crowd going. No, not so much.
No.
And then, unless Brandon, you got any thoughts on Omos and Lesnar, Brandon?
What's kind of tied in together is it was like 7:25 and we're already 2 matches done. I was like these last 2 matches are going to be like they're going to have to take a long time because I mean these first 2 matches flew by and we knew this one was going to be short, but we'll get to the next one. It was a quick one. I mean, that's what I said. It was like 7:20 and we were already 3rd match. So.
Yeah. And then you had our lovely tag showcase is what they called it. It didn't showcase a whole lot. You had Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey pick up the win. Supposedly this was for who was next in line for a tag match, I would assume, right? Showcase. And they weren't mentioned on Raw, and then we have a tag match for the number 1 contender of someone that wasn't the winner. So I'm not real sure what that was about.
What was so odd about that, too, guys, is that the Street Profits came out and made it a big deal that they won their match, right? Like they talked about how important it was that they had won their showcase match, and then on the other side, you get the losers that are. I don't know.
Were in the match the night before and lost, and then got another opportunity on Raw just to be the number 1. The logic makes absolutely no sense. The only thing I can think is that we knew reports coming into the match were that Ronda was hurt, so that's why she didn't do much in the match. So Ronda's hurt. Well, Shayna looks like she hurt herself during the match, but we've seen them call audibles numerous times if somebody gets hurt. So why
do they
win if you're not going to showcase them the next time?
Because you don't want to let Ronda and Shayna get pinned.
Yeah,
okay. They didn't have to get pinned. There's 2 other teams in there that could have taken the
pin. They wanted them to make sure they won.
True. No, you're right, KO. I mean, truthfully, when you think about it that way, there was a lot of other people who could have won and lost the match with them not even being in there. You're right. It is typical. It doesn't make sense, so let's do it. Let's keep everybody guessing, right?
Well, none of these tag teams are really even tag teams anyway. I mean, they're all
they're really
thrown together. There's no rhyme or reason why they like each other. The only one that makes sense is the Adam Pearce hating team of Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. That makes sense because they both hate Adam Pearce.
Yeah, the Karens. It's
the complaint department.
The complaint department.
I mean, that would make sense. I would have been okay. It makes sense.
We should have the complaint department against Damage Control. I mean, that would be,
at least they're tag teams. Like,
Well, that's I'm okay with the women's division. There's not enough tag teams in the women's real tag teams to warrant having tag titles. Like, there's no point unless you want to include NXT, SmackDown, and Raw and have them float to all of them. Then okay, that's fine. But
because there's more NXT than the other 2 brands combined.
Yes.
But tell me why every other organization has a great women's tag division. I don't want to say great, has a competent women's tag division, and WWE can never get it right. Even when Impact TNA was at its absolute worst, they had women's tag teams, right? Like everybody else can get that right.
It's all about building the storyline and being a reason for them to be together and having some different things in the show. Like, if they don't do that. They just, here, you're back here. Let's go tag together. Come on. Let's go face the other team.
Brandon, tell me this. Last year at Mania, when we saw Sasha and Naomi win the tag titles, did that not feel like a big deal at the time?
It did, yeah.
Where are those guys?
Sasha's in New Japan as Mercedes Moné, and Trinity, Naomi, is not coming back to WWE. So, but my point being that it was gaining traction. The problem is you got Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard who hate women's wrestling. They look at it as a sex appeal thing,
right? With
the bra and panties matches that we had back in the day. So, which again, I mean, we're all males here. That's okay, but that's not what I'm tuning in for. Like, that's not what I'm watching wrestling for.
Well, it's what I was about to say is it shows you really what they value in the women's division. You know why AEW's women's division is great? Because they have great wrestlers and that's what they value.
Oh, you can't say wrestlers. Hold on. Wait. That's a bad word on this show, Jeremy.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. The point is they almost overutilize it sometimes, right? Like they're thank
Don't
you for
say
that.
The wrestler word.
I won't say wrestler again, but but they almost have too many women's matches sometimes, right? When you're watching AEW, it's like, dude, come on. All right, let me get Hangman and Moxley or whatever going at it. But it's but man, you're right, KO, man. Like it is obvious what they use the women's matches for. And it's gonna, I think it's gonna get worse. Like I don't think it's gonna get better. Which is unfortunate because I've really gotten to where, because of AEW, the women's division is much more entertaining now. Like way off topic here, but give me Britt Baker over any of them, honestly, and Toni Storm and some of those ladies. So
Jamie Hayter, I love Jamie.
Oh gosh, I mean, they don't. Well, they do have some bad ones, but they don't have many bad ones. It's booked correctly, and I think that's what they're just killing. We talked about this last week. They're just killing the women's division a little bit, and
I think WWE has good women's wrestlers.
Absolutely.
They're just not being used. I mean, there's Asuka's being misused. You got Bianca Belair, who's fantastic. Charlotte's good. Rhea's good. Outside of that, I mean, I like Liv. I like Raquel.
Becky Lynch.
I like Becky. Yeah, I like those, and Bailey. But you don't see them. They're not being used. Like, it's not. They're throwing these random matches together for tag championships that mean absolutely nothing, and that's
my least favorite thing about WWE. Honestly, is just the things that don't mean anything.
But
there's too much of that.
If you're Becky Lynch, aren't you looking at AEW thinking, "Man, what could I do there,
dude?" She would be the champion in her and Jamie Hayter in a match. Take my money.
I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. Like they have to look at it as we could do so much better anywhere else. Like anybody would use them so much better, and that's the frustrating part. You're right, because they have very talented sports entertainers.
AEW has wrestlers. It's not WWE.
I don't know what I can say. There's no chance I'm going to figure this out.
Oh my God, you said it again.
No chance.
Anyway, I digress. But
I just think that was funny because it was the way, and this is in the Raw last night, but way Cody said competitor to Roman Reigns. He didn't say he was a better wrestler.
You were the better competitor last night. Stop it, Cody. Come on, man.
I mean, that's just, typical Vince right there. We don't want to say certain words. I don't. That's,
so after these first two dark matches, then the real night 2 of WrestleMania got
yes. The next match was a
banger,
slobber knocker. I mean, it was man, they were probably all red they're probably still red, honestly, probably red, black, and blue. They just beat the hound dog at each other. Not the way I saw this match, but now after I've seen the way that the end went, then I understand why. We thought Gunther might drop the title and go after the big belt. Well, that's not happening, so that's why he retained. They had the chance to give Sheamus the belt that he did not have on the grandest stage of them all in a match like this, and they didn't do it. Is anybody else disappointed in this? I mean, I like Gunther. Don't get me wrong.
I'm disappointed, but I understand it. I get it. I see where they're going with Gunther.
I think Gunther's time to. It's his. We don't. There's not many big stars.
He's becoming a big star. I think
Roman
Gunther
Roman beat everybody. I mean, he's beat almost everybody.
I mentioned this last week. They're going to book themselves in a corner here with a couple of things. Having Roman win. All right, what's next? Who can possibly take him down? Right? It's almost the same thing here. If he's beaten Drew and Sheamus, who else in that mid-card? I hate to say mid-card. Who else at that level is there for him to go after that's bigger than those two? Let
me throw a name out here and see what y'all think. Now, he's going to have to be built up to get to this point, but I think it can happen. Bronson Reed. I'm a big Bronson Reed fan. I like Bronson Reed a lot. Especially his NXT Bronson.
What about Bobby Lashley?
Bobby's another one. That was my point, is that Gunther has many more opponents that he can go through on this Intercontinental Championship run. I don't think it's time for him to give it up just yet. I still think Sheamus is the one that takes him down. I just don't think it's right now.
Could Lashley go after Roman? Has he beat Lashley? Well, I'm just saying more somebody that he hasn't gone against. I mean,
there's no story there to.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Let's go way off topic here. How many people are in what we would call the Roman? How many people believably can take on Roman right now on the roster?
Right now,
Cody,
Seth.
Cody, Seth. I would say KO and Sammy are believable to take him down.
So 4 guys.
Bobby Lashley.
No.
Braun Strowman.
No, not Braun.
Believable? You don't think they're believable?
No. And I think both of those guys, honestly, are a step down from Drew and Sheamus for Gunther. I mean, you're talking about 2 former world champions. I know Lashley's held the belt, and so is Strowman, but they haven't been portrayed as those two have. I mean, that's kind of a thing. You got to remember they're going overseas a lot here in the summer, like they always do. Maybe Sheamus does it there, right?
Maybe on the bank.
Let me throw a name out.
London at the O2 Arena.
Let me throw a name out. Jey Uso
to take down Roman.
I think he's the one that ends up taking Roman down.
I don't see Jey as a world champion though, as a singles competitor. I don't see him as a singles world champion.
My thing is where I think they're going with this. I think that he's now mad at them for losing the titles, and they're going to get exiled, and it's going to end up causing them to. He's going to go after Roman because of all because originally Jey didn't want to join. Remember, he was the one that got basically. I think he lost the match to him, and then he had to join him, right? Wasn't he his right-hand man after he beat him? It's been a couple of years ago.
I mean, you got to think Jay's already taken him on for the belt. I mean, I just think
blame Jey for all the stuff that happened with Sammy and all that. And
I think, well, we'll talk about it when we get to that match. But I see something different happening for the bloodline going on. But I'll save that for the.
I'm sure it's nothing that we'll predict though, because
no.
Well, if Vince is back. That it could be Dwayne. It could be Dwayne now. I mean, but can it be for the belt? Because then what are you going to do? Right?
That's the thing.
You got a part timer now, then you got a no timer.
If the Rock, I'm all for the Rock and Roman because I think that's the only way you end the Tribal Chief storyline. That's how it has to end. But I don't think it needs to be for a belt. And I sure don't think The Rock needs to win the belt over Roman. That's a terrible idea, but it may happen. But that's a terrible idea.
Unless you have Solo take it from him.
They got a lot of work to do.
Yeah,
they got a lot of work to do, though. But
at some point, they've built him up pretty well. I mean, yeah, he did lose to Cody, that he wasn't ready. Maybe he's ready later.
And they keep saying that phrase, by the way. So we're going to get Solo and Cody. That's what's going to happen, I think. But I don't know. I just think they put themselves in a spot, and this would have been the guy. I think I said this last week. This would be the guy to take the strap off of so that he can be next. Let him be the next formidable opponent for Roman if that's who it is, or for Cody either way.
So y'all are good with Gunther. I thought the match was incredible. I mean, they just beat the living crap out of each other.
Yeah,
it was probably I would say hardest hitting, but the Hell in a Cell was pretty hard hitting.
No, I think this was. I think you're
right.
right.
The hardest hitting with human flesh.
Yeah.
As far as the match goes, I mean, it was brutal.
It was exactly what we thought it was going to be, right?
I love when people are like, wrestling's fake. Okay, you go in that ring, you take a chop from Gunther, Sheamus, or Drew, and tell me how fake wrestling is.
Or what was it, 30 in a row of them?
Dude,
right?
Yeah.
Like,
they're like they're hitting themselves, like making themselves like red and almost bleeding just by hitting themselves.
I loved the match. I thought it was fantastic. I'm okay with Gunther winning just because I think there's a lot of opponents lined up for him for the Intercontinental Championship. And kind of like I mentioned a while ago, if they're the problem with trying to give it to Sheamus now is that Gunther's beat Sheamus at least 3 times now. So how many more opportunities are you going to give Sheamus? I'm okay with seeing a Bronson Reed go after it, a Bobby Lashley, somebody like a Braun, somebody going after that's going to put on a good match. Ricochet put on a great match with Gunther. I'm okay with seeing that again. I just think it's too early to take it from Gunther is going to go down as the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion. And I think he's deserving. I think he is fantastic. The work that he's put in, if you remember Gunther back in the NXT UK days, he was a lot bigger. He has slimmed up a lot.
He's awesome.
Problem is, Vince hates Gunther, was trying to get rid of him before he got the Intercontinental Championship. So what happens with Gunther now? I have no idea. There is no telling.
Exiled to NXT.
A name we didn't mention that could be a challenger for someone, Braun Breaker.
Too early.
We should have. We didn't see him last night.
Yeah. Well,
I thought we might see him last night.
I saw a report where, and I don't know how true this is. I don't know who it came from, but I saw something where because of Rick Steiner's comments that he made and got him in hot water, that WWE is holding that against Braun Breaker, which I think is unfair. But
they're holding against him, but he's had the title for how long?
He doesn't anymore, though. And I think that's why they didn't call him up. Well, who knows why they didn't call him up last night? There should have been multiple people that called up.
Well, he was on the NXT promos, like the new promos that came out during Raw last night, as if he was going to be on there tonight. So be curious. Obviously, we're on here not watching, but be curious to see what he does on NXT tonight if he's there or whatever. I'll just throw another name out like always. What about freaking Matt Cardona? Where is the guy? Right? Where is he?
If here's my thing. If they hadn't signed some of these people before last night, they ain't getting them now.
No. That report about Jay White coming to WWE, now saying he ain't coming.
Yeah, we know where he's going to show up next.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I hope we see him tomorrow night, Brandon. You are correct about that.
Yes.
So disappointing. Anyway.
Well, Tony Khan has a big announcement tomorrow night.
Yeah, his big announcements are usually not very big, by the way, in case you're wondering.
They fall short.
Big announcements. I ate a hot dog for dinner. That's what they usually are.
Well,
I keep waiting on CM Punk to walk back in.
Oh, if they could get them to, honestly, that would be the biggest storyline, maybe in wrestling history. If they could get the locker room to welcome back CM Punk, they could tell a story off of all that happened. They could, it writes itself. But
this is a whole other topic, but if you're in that company and you want to take over WWE with what they just put out last night and what's coming in the next couple of months, you better get him back on there. Truthfully, you get him back in, you get Jay White, you bring in Matt Cardona. We'll never watch WWE again. Okay. But you have, this is now, we talked about this last week, how WWE kind of taken that momentum and ran with it. Now, what's going to happen over the next few months with Vince back? Truthfully, right? Like, it is what it is. It's not going away. They're not going to put him out of business.
Yeah.
But
WWE is not going anywhere, Jeremy.
We hold that. There's no chance that they're going anywhere. Just for you again, Kale.
Oh, thanks.
I just
ran Kyle off.
anyway, we are way off topic here, but it just goes back to the match. I thought was great. Those are three guys who they could put a strap. They could give a belt to any of those three guys, and they could carry it. I mean, those three guys are all three great. Great workers. The match was exactly what we thought it was going to be. Very physical, very fun to watch, painful to watch a little bit, like you were kind of hurting for them somehow. But it was exactly what I thought it was going to be.
All right. Well, the next match, another one that was a championship match. We had Bianca Belair defend her championship over Asuka. I thought it was Asuka. Jeremy, you're the only one that had Bianca Belair.
I was going to brag on myself for this one. I was thinking about this on Sunday night. I just couldn't see them dropping both of them. And now you kind of see they're going to build up Bianca and Rhea maybe a little bit over the summer, which I think would be fun to watch. And we actually talked about this last week. Should they have two belts for the women? And maybe they're building to the fact that they may be fixing to have one women's champion. That could be something maybe they're setting up by having those two kind of go at each other, which I think is probably a good idea if we're being honest. We talked about the reasons why that would be a good idea. But, you're right. Asuka tries to cheat, can't do it. And so, I don't want to take all the credit for it. It was just intuition, I guess. It was trying to be different. But I thought it was a good quality match considering two of my least favorite workers, honestly. Like those two for me, I can't buy into it. But I was watching and interested in what was going to happen.
I thought they were going to take the title off Bianca. I thought it was time. I think they misuse Asuka a lot. I think she is great in the ring. I guess I'm okay with Bianca winning. I just where she's ran through everybody. Where do you go from here with with Bianca? Like, what else is there for her to do? I'm with you, Jeremy. I kind of can see how maybe they try to unify those at some point, but also
here's a problem with that. If they unify, they can't tell storylines without belts in WWE. So then when you run into that, there you have one women's storyline. I mean, anybody disagree with that? I mean, they have a really bad problem with that.
But also, if you try to combine those, well, here's the thing. I don't think what happened last night was supposed to happen. I think that was a last minute write up by Vince to get them out there. I don't think that was what was supposed to happen. I don't know where you go with Bianca from here. I don't know who else she can run through. She's ran through the whole division. I don't know who else. Who you tell me who's next for Bianca?
I think it's Rhea. I think that's what they're going to do.
They're both champions.
Piper Niven, possibly.
No. So Bret,
but she hasn't fought her, and she's
yes, she has. She's KOD Piper twice.
KOD.
She did.
Yeah.
I guess I missed that one. I probably skipped through that match then.
But you wanted to challenge Bianca.
Why don't we unify those titles and then create a secondary title like AEW has?
Yes.
And put that on like a Piper Niven or Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
And let them carry that title. And then that way you can have a secondary women's storyline, but still have the main one and that way you're not throwing Liv Morgan into main title matches.
I like that. But they're gonna be like, okay, let's combine these titles. Oh wait, let's add a new. How would they do? Like, there's got to be a way to do that. I don't know how
because you don't want. Well, yeah, but you don't want to lessen one of the main what's supposed to be the main titles, but they need to make one or especially if you're going to do Rhea and Bianca. But I'd be okay with a secondary women's title and just take away the women's tag titles.
Yes, get rid of those, burn those.
I'd say get rid of the NXT ones and then just let them float.
Either way. So
if they have enough teams in NXT, they could do something if they're floating around, defending them all over the place. Then we might be able to get some of these NXT teams that are pretty good on Raw or SmackDown.
That in a perfect world, that would make sense.
If they're good booking. Well, let's preface that.
If Triple H was still fully in charge, I would say I could see that happening. But now the women are going to get put on the back burner.
Right. That's the first problem. That's what's going to happen. Yeah. The other thing is we've seen in WWE, they're not going to unify belts. Don't worry about that. We're going to carry around two belts.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, I need another belt.
We're going to send me 4 belts.
I need to unify some belts. Is there a KMU belt or a Tyler Morning Telegraph
No.
belt? I want to unify some belts.
Me and Brandon are holding on to those.
Hold on. Hold that thing up, Brett. Hold that. Let me see that thing.
That's a sharp looking belt, ain't it?
Pick'em champ, man. This is the NetSN Pick'em champ.
What in the world?
Yeah.
You
He
haven't seen
cheated
my
to
belt
get that.
before?
He won it by nefarious.
Bring my belt
Jeremy-
next time.
Jeremy hasn't seen it. I think the
Oh,
champ
my
should
gosh.
enter. Jeremy, let me let you check this out real quick.
Oh gosh.
And ladies and gentlemen, we kick the night off with the man who has been a world champion for 678 days. The head of the table, the king of the bloodline, the tribal chief. And a deafening ovation.
Please welcome the undisputed NetSN Pick'em champ, Bret Swinning.
Yeah, the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time, and he could very well be.
So you missed that during football season, Jeremy.
I acknowledge my tribal chief.
So I am the Pick'em champ on the weekly wrap-up show. So this is why I hold this title back-to-back years. So that's why I got this belt. I surprised the guys with that one week. I bought it and then I entered with that. So yeah.
That was a lot of work you put into that video. I'm not gonna lie. That's you might need some more hobbies or something, man. I don't know. You know what?
It was a lot of fun. I did the video and having to wait to tell I don't even think Kyle was doing the show with us at that point.
That's why you won the belt, because I wasn't picking all year.
Oh yeah. Well, I do have Corey that likes to take the long shots, and then Vince, they go back and forth. I just pick who I think is going to win, So,
who won this WrestleMania pick'em again? I'm just curious.
Oh, I think it was the two at the bottom of the screen
I think
here.
it was two at the bottom. Yeah. The beltless wonders, by the way, but that's okay.
It's like kissing your sister, though. So
we are the Seth Rollins of this show. We're underappreciated, Jeremy.
That's
Our
right.
talents are underappreciated.
And way underutilized, but that's okay. Corey, a whole nother stories with Corey, but let me just give you a quick Corey story. We have the rails. We are not even anywhere close to the rails at this point.
It's a Monday Night Raw.
Yeah. So Corey and Bret come out to do a basketball game with us this year. Okay. There's one thing, Kyle and Brandon probably don't know this. I am very. I guess I think I get paid for my timeouts when we leave. And so I'm not going to use one unless I really need to use one. Okay.
You can't take them with you.
So we're in a game. You can't. And we're in a game. We're winning. But I think we're playing All Saints, Bret. I don't remember which one it was. I don't know but they get a little run. Okay. And we're still up. We're way ahead.
It was a lot of. They were hit by a lot.
It wasn't. But we were playing really bad at the time. And Bret's like, yeah, Coach Herbert's probably can call timeout right here. And Corey's like, yeah, he's got to get a timeout right here. Of course, I didn't, right? We're up by 20. And I let him play through it. And Corey's like, yeah, that's what I'd have done. I'd have let him play through it too. And I was like, Corey, you just said I should have called a timeout. What are you doing?
He's wishy-washy.
Flip flop real quick.
You know what? That was a great move, Coach Hubbard. And I'm like, you're right, it was. I'll watch it back. The next day I saw Bret. I was like, Bret, like we just got to get some names right or something. But it was great anyway. But okay, anyway, we were way off. But nice belt. Just that's where this all started, I guess.
It is. So speaking of belts, Snoop Dogg with a nice belt coming to the ring there. That's a nice and the next segment was Snoop Dogg and the Miz out in the ring. You know, they had to announce the attendance every time, you know.
Which they lie about, by the way.
It's probably a pretty
it's at least
loaded number.
8,000 or 9,000 more than what was really there.
So we were counted there. We weren't there, you know.
Yeah.
I think so. And of course, I kind of had a suspicion when they started talking. I was like, "Wait, he's gonna have somebody else come out." And the person I thought least likely to come out, and I don't have this music, or I would play it.
That's fine. We don't need the music.
Shane O'Mac.
Here comes the money.
Money. I love this. I love his intro. Okay, I was like. And if y'all don't know the story, and I don't know if I told y'all this, 14 months ago, Vince McMahon said that Shane O'Mac would never get another pop in the WWE as long as he was in charge.
Because he ruined the Royal Rumble.
And lo and behold, he gets a pop. And then he got another pop when he got to the ring, his quad.
Oh, poor guy. Poor guy.
I mean, he came out there. I don't know how old Shane is. He's probably in his 50s.
I want to say he's 53 or something like that.
I think they said maybe in 54. He's
doing his little, you know, moving around shimmies, and he looked a little stiff, and then he went up to jump over the top, and man, I don't know what it is about that family. You know, Triple H, he had those quads that blew that time. I thought it was like an ACL or an something at the time.
I did too.
But then they, you know, announced it was a quad injury. So that was planned. The biggest improviser of the whole night, Snoop, decides he's going to deck the Miz.
I love it.
And then do the Snoop Dogg elbow.
The doggy elbow.
On Miz. And
look, I don't know if somebody told Snoop, hey, Shane's hurt, we got to do something, or if Snoop just acted on his own. But what happened?
Snoop's in my ear. Snoop says he's got a clip for us.
Oh gosh.
What that was great, but did y'all catch that she was saying people's elbow? The ref Jessica Carr was telling him you caught it. I didn't catch it the first time I went through, but then I read something later when I went back and watched the clip. You could actually hear her, but still on the fly improvise. I mean, there was a lot of great things about the whole night, but that was not non-wrestling, just. That was great. I loved it.
Well, that's why Snoop's a WWE Hall of Famer right there.
Oh,
I mean, he got the Golden Championship.
He earned it right there, guys. I mean, really, that was his night. I mean, his part in WrestleMania was amazing.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
No, you were going to say something serious, and I was not. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, in all seriousness, I do hate it for Shane. I never want to see somebody get hurt. That's not what I'm here for. But two things. There was no way we were going to have a WrestleMania without a McMahon. It didn't matter if Vince wasn't there. We weren't going to have one without a McMahon. Shane had to come out, but he that needs to be the last image we see of Shane in a ring. I don't need to ever see him in a ring ever again. Ever.
Which is sad because he's had some great moments.
He has, but he's way past his prime. He needs to hang it up. Him and Lita need to walk off in the sunset together.
Because we know they're not going to run now.
Hey!
But let me tell you what we don't need to see again. Snoop Dogg with no glasses on. I was telling some people today that didn't watch, I was like, have you ever thought about what Snoop Dogg looks like with his sunglasses off? Because it looks like a weenie dog. Looks like you're looking at
Look, I was thinking when we saw that clip, I was like, I've never seen Snoop without glasses. And I
never want to again. In the moment, I thought,
yes.
I thought this guy's fixing to get himself arrested, number one. Number two, that is the scariest looking thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was it looked like a naked mole rat. It It didn't look good at all, man. I love Snoop, but keep them glasses on, Snoop. Don't ever do that again.
I want more Snoop Dogg on WWE, by the way.
Yes.
You want me to be watching during the summer? Let's go Snoop versus Bad Bunny in Puerto Rico.
Oh, so down. Have a rap battle first and then a battle in the ring.
I like that.
Yeah, love it.
Okay, well.
So the first.
Oh, go ahead, Brandon.
The first night, they start off WrestleMania and they say, singing America the Beautiful from Inglewood, California. And I said, please tell me they're not having Snoop sing America the Beautiful.
Oh, that would have been great.
No way.
Oh.
And then,
There
of
was
course,
some Becky somebody.
If that would have happened, that would have been.
but of course, in typical Snoop fashion, to get everything started, let's light it up. Oh, okay. Snoop.
Can we fire it up?
Yeah. Okay, Snoop.
Oh man.
But for real, I thought it was very impressive. Even if they were telling him what to do, my favorite part is he's doing the people's elbow and he's like,
He's looking for the pads. He's like, oh wait, the glasses.
And his bounce off the rope, the first rope. That's what one of us, if us four got in a fatal four-way match at WrestleMania, that's what it looked like when somebody came off the ropes.
That's how fast we're moving. Look, that was entertaining. It was. I could again, the same Miz spot on night 1 and night 2. I could have done without both of those, but I enjoyed night 2 with the spot with Miz a lot more than I did night 1. Even though McAfee came in night 1, I just enjoyed.
I think they were different spots. I think the McAfee spot was like a big pop and it was cool. This one was just hilarious.
Well, and it was unplanned because they didn't plan on Shane popping a quad on his first pop.
That's the craziest thing of all of it is that was never supposed to happen.
No, but it was great.
If he'd have come back out on Monday night for the surprise, it'd have been like unbelievable.
That would have made the show worth watching.
You're okay, fair. Yeah, that'd have been the one thing.
Oh.
I didn't get. Funny if they would have had him and Riddle together to see who's higher.
Especially after Riddle just got back from a suspension.
Yeah, what message are we giving the kids here? we got Snoop on one night and Riddle, the big surprise of the night. By the way, Riddle also lost a lot of his trunks while he was in Rio.
Oh my gosh!
Like this is extremely awkward.
One sneeze and the surprise is out. One bad move, you know.
And put some shoes on for crying out loud if you're going to wear that.
Oh man, this is where we go to commercial. Let's move on to probably one of the most, I say most physical, but the most blood match in the
only blood match.
Yes,
WWE
Edge versus Finn Balor, and guys. Of course, Jeremy sent us the picture. That ladder shot. Whew.
Yeah,
was nasty. But I mean, the overall match I thought was cool was the added platform that Balor jumped on. I thought that was a pretty nasty spot. I mean, he jumped straight down on the table from I don't know how high he was up, but that could have gone bad. I mean, he's already bleeding out the head, and.
To me, that's the most impressive thing in the match is because that spot happened kind of early in the match where he cut his head open. And the rest of the match was like, it was just as physical. He wasn't scared to do any of the spots. His equilibrium wasn't off. Like you would have never known if you just caught the last 10 minutes of the match, you would have never known he had just split his head open earlier in the match.
Because it's painted up and you couldn't tell really. I mean,
that's true.
Because when he came back on the air, I'm like, I knew he'd gotten injured because the ladder match looked weird. So when you hit it and then they rolled him off, I thought Edge did a great job of covering. Like he started getting all his weapons and stuff like, making it not look so obvious. Like maybe Finn was just out. They didn't really like go to the camera to show Finn while the doctor working on him. I thought at the time, now I obviously know it was real. I thought, okay, they're going to open the cage and here comes Judgment Day in there. And this is all a setup.
Well, I knew it was real.
Remember they had in the Elimination Chamber,
they had Montez act like he got hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt, and then that's when people came in the cage.
But
I thought that was what was going to happen.
As soon as he got hit with the ladder, you saw the blood drip out. So I knew he had been busted open. I thought his face got busted open. I didn't know it was the top of his head.
Yeah.
But I mean,
he must have caught the ladder and then it went like
and then it
back.
Or yeah, I guess
up over his head somehow. He didn't block it all the way or something. I don't know.
I knew something serious had happened because you could see the blood squirting out. And I was like, okay, there's that wasn't planned.
Well,
but
some of it was hard to tell because he was dripping paint too.
Yeah.
And then it was like it was purple blood because it obviously where it was purple because it didn't look red on the mat, but you could see it. And so I really couldn't tell. I was like, man, he's got some blood in there, but is he dripping his paint off too from sweating? Because he always does that too, because that paint is as soon as he gets in there, it starts coming off everywhere.
You know, two things about this match, other than the actual match itself, is it's a shame to me the years we lost of Edge, right? Like the dude we missed a couple of years or a few years of him from being injured. It's a shame that that's the case. And then you forget just how good Finn Balor is and how we talked earlier about it being fake. Like, yes, it's scripted. That doesn't mean it's fake, right? There's two different things there.
Right.
And for him to finish that match and do what he did, unbelievable. Mad respect for him in the way he did it. And just two great workers, like two phenomenal workers at what they do. And you're right. When the cage was opened, I thought, here we go. Here comes Damian. And you knew you probably wouldn't see Dominic, right? Just because of what happened the night before, whatever. Or is it going to be somebody else? Is there a new addition? That was the rumor going in. Is there a new addition to the Judgment Day?
Or where's the Brood? Did anybody else find it odd that Brood Edge was on the screen? What was that? Do we need to label him Brood Edge?
Well, that they were making that point because Finn was the demon.
And then they didn't even play the Brood music.
Yeah.
Well, at the very beginning, they did.
Yeah.
Which I thought was odd too.
They didn't play the whole like Gangrel Brood music.
Yeah.
They didn't play that one part like
they played
the
Slayer
part
though.
Yeah, they didn't play the main Brood song that I'm used to.
The one thing I'm going to say about West Coast outdoor WrestleMania, you lose some effect of the demon entrance when it's not dark.
Yes.
Right? Like, to me, I was like, man, they are killing this because some of his entrances from NXT stuff or early WWE stuff when he was it's in an arena or it's dark or whatever, and he gets come out in that I mean, it was listen, I thought it was good, but
does this kill the demon, Jeremy? Like,
no.
Are we over? Are we done? Like, it used to be he was the demon, he never lost.
He's lost twice now.
He's lost twice now. Is this the effect of it kind of gone?
By the way, who picked who in this match?
I'm sure you must have picked correctly because I think you and Kyle had Edge.
Oh, huh.
Probably why one
pick
reason
Edge.
Kyle won.
Huh.
No,
Jeremy.
you had Demon Finn. Me and you had Demon Finn.
Because
I wrote it.
lose.
I wrote it down.
We the ones.
Yeah. We the ones. They the twos. We the ones.
Okay, here we go.
We're gonna make our own entrance, Jeremy, that we can.
Oh man,
have our beltless entry.
Well, that makes see that's.
I got y'all's intro.
Pants on the ground. Oh man, there we go.
That's a little flash in the past, huh?
I'm trying to think. I was probably 13, 14 when that NWO Wolfpack was out. We're still trying to download that song off LimeWire to be able to play it on it, to put it on a CD to play in our car.
Good old LimeWire days.
Oh man!
And FrostWire? Did y'all have FrostWire too?
No, it's Napster and LimeWire for me, man.
There. I use FrostWire sometimes.
Oh, is it?
Napster and LimeWire.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I had no idea.
Well,
anyway, it was a great match. I love the match. I'm with you, Jeremy. I think the effect got kind of taken down a little bit with it not being completely dark, because especially when he turns around and does the whole little thing with all the lights, like that would have been much more epic had it been dark outside. So I agree with that.
Well, and part of it is because it's in California,
right?
And it's still
2 hours behind.
If it's in like Philadelphia, like where it is doing next year,
then it won't matter.
The time it'll be dark by the time.
Yeah.
So that's the main difference.
I enjoyed
the
the
first 4 matches flew by too. So.
Yeah.
Well,
they had to give time to this match and to the main event. So I mean, I'm okay with them shortening the other matches because of how epic these 2 matches had to be. Because I do think this blows off the feud with Edge and Finn. I think they're done with each other for a while at least.
So did you say main event, Kyle?
I did.
Well, let's time for the main event.
Oh, okay.
So let's talk main event. Man, I've got a lot. I got so many thoughts about this. The match itself, they got right all the way until the end. They had the chance to, like, Cody's never going to be hotter. They can say all they want. Oh, the story's not up. This was his time, in my opinion. I understand they want to keep the belt on Reigns, yada yada. I just feel like this was his time to put Cody over. They've done all this work with Cody, and then, of course, didn't Sunday and Monday happen, and now look at him. I mean, I love the match overall, though. The whole storyline and stuff, it was very similar to the tag match. They had the interferences. Solo gets kicked out. Okay, it's going to be even. Then you had the Usos try to interfere. Sammy and KO come out, clear everybody, evens it up. And then, of course, little sneaky Solo comes back in a Sami Zayn hoodie or KO hoodie, where it looked just like one that they would wear to sneak through the crowd, and somehow gets back in and helps Roman win. I know, Kyle, you picked this one. You were the only one.
What can I say?
I mean, this is how you saw it play out.
So I thought Roman would win. There's a couple of things you can always count on in a Roman Reigns match. You're going to get the spear. You're going to get the Superman punch. That's one thing. And then a ref is going to get knocked down. Guaranteed.
Only one this time.
Well, yeah, but guaranteed. Like I said last week, I just thought WWE loves their numbers. And I didn't see them taking the belt off Roman before 1,000 days. I didn't see that happening. When you're mentioning the likes of Pedro Morales, Bruno Sammartino, those type of names, Hulk Hogan, those types that have held the belt longer than Roman, he's going to eventually be the longest reigning champion ever in WWE. I mean, that's where I feel like it's going. The issue, I don't think it was Cody's time. And I said this last week because he hasn't struggled. You can bring up the 7 years he was gone in AEW and making his name on the indies. That's great. We know that. They didn't tell that story on TV. So that's not the story. We know that story, but they didn't tell that story on TV. His struggle was the torn pec, which he couldn't help. I think without the torn pec, then we have a better story leading up to Mania. But that torn pec kind of threw a wrench in everything. Then for him to come back at the Rumble, which everyone knew he was coming back at the Rumble, then to put him in at number 30, well, he's winning now. And he only had to really beat 6 guys to get that opportunity. I just don't think there was enough story built into it. He didn't struggle enough. I personally think now, especially after last night.
Did he struggle enough now for you?
No, but it's a start. I think here's what I really thought was going to happen once we found out that Roman won and that Cody was going to have a mystery partner on Monday night. Here's what I thought was going to happen. This mystery partner, we talked about it in our text message. I thought it was going to be Randy Orton was going to return and join Cody because they need one more person. You got Cody, KO, and Sammy that could go up against Solo and the Usos, but you need one more person to make that 4-on-4. So who's that fourth person? Then when they announced Brock last night, I was like, okay, I mean, I don't care for it, but I can see it because Brock has history with Roman. So I was like, all right, well, there's the fourth person. And then all hell broke loose last night. But Sunday night, the main event, I think WWE did the right thing. You're saying that Cody's not hotter than he is right now. I think he can only get hotter. I don't think he's buried. I don't think any of that. I think they are setting Cody up to face this adversity to eventually take the title from Roman. It's just not the right time. I just don't think right now is the right time. So I'm okay with how it played out.
I just think they basically said that Cody's not the guy.
He is the guy. He's just not right now. He will, mark my words, Cody will be the one to take the title from Roman. It's just not right now. Cody's taking the title, though. We have a King of the Ring tournament coming up. My prediction, Cody wins King of the Ring. Because last night, Paul Heyman said that Cody's not getting another rematch ever. Okay, well, you can't prevent it if he wins King of the Ring and earns that opportunity.
Money in the Bank.
Or Money in the Bank. One of the two where Cody gets an opportunity again, and that opportunity he beats Roman. That's what I think.
All right, Jeremy and Brandon, what do you guys pick? Cody, what did you guys think?
I mean, I thought he was going to win, but as the match went on, I was like, well, even the engine, the way before the match even started, I started leaning, oh, wait, Roman's going to win this. And, still through the match, though, I was still hanging, hey, there's a chance Cody can win, They kept me invested the whole match. I mean, because I was like, going in thinking Cody was going to win, then kind of changed to Roman. I was still invested because I was like, this could go either way. And it was just, different people interfering and everything, but they both told a great story. It was just a fun match. And I mean, no matter the ending, it was the match of the weekend and one of the best WrestleMania matches in a long time. I think it was the best main event at Mania. I mean, as far as you have to go back at least, I think 7 or 8 years to find a better main event Mania match than that. I mean, just off the top of my head. And but I thought it was great. Part of last night too, like this is still the main. Yesterday, Bully Ray and Mark Henry on their show were talking about, Dusty's hard times promo, and Cody's never went through the hard times. Yeah, he had the pec, but that wasn't a storyline thing. That was just something that happened. And now, then the day where they're talking, well, now the hard times may be starting. We'll still have to see. But like Kyle said, you want to see him struggle a little bit. And we thought it might be the bloodline still. He didn't want hell for a few months. But now it looks like it's going to be Brock added to that hell. But I still would like to see the bloodline kind of string them along a little bit. Kind of how like Heyman was playing games with them last night a little bit. Like, hey, now you got to start back over. You got to beat Solo. You got to beat. And now the Usos can earn their trust back by beating up Cody again and making them re-earn a shot with Roman. But it's probably going to happen, like Kyle said, is with the Money in the Bank or King of the Ring.
I thought that Sunday, some of the main things to come out of it were Cody's whole mindset going into this match, right, was proving he could do something his family never done. You kind of see it in the way they portrayed him when it was over with, that the issue is maybe the belief in himself now. And then you add on what happened last night, right? But does he think he can do it, right? Like you're a guy who came back and he said he was ready. He said he'd been through this. He was prepared. He was doing something his family never done. He was doing it for his dad. I mean, you saw him at different points in the night looking up, right, to his dad at that, so it's like the story was being told. And Brandon, you're right. I think I even texted you guys. Maybe I think I did. If not, I didn't because I know who was watching it live. But I'm with you. In the entrances, I thought, our man's not winning here. Like this is going to be a Roman thing just because the way they were building it up.
Whenever he went over and took his daughter and talked to and hugged his wife and all that, that was, if you're going to do that, why do it at the beginning? Why not do it after you win?
Yeah. And the other thing is, I didn't see this until today, but there was a video on Twitter, I guess, of when he came out of the pre-show meeting, I guess, and probably when they went through everything that was going to happen of him hugging Brandy and his daughter again. I don't know if you guys see. I'm going to try to find it and send it to you guys, but they said it was after that meeting when he found out, because I think that they say there was weeks ago they decided who was going to win this match. I don't know. I don't believe that.
I kind of heard similar to what you just said, is that they didn't know who was winning until WrestleMania started on night 2. Like they still didn't have a clear winner. And I think it out during the show.
At least probably the talent probably didn't know. Some people may have known higher up.
Triple H at this point is trying to defend Vince, saying that Vince didn't decide it on night 2, but I don't think Cody knew until that day.
No,
I believe that. And so that video didn't come out. I don't know when it came out, but I saw it today and I was like, okay, well, if I'd have seen that, I would have changed my odds. I'd have went and put money on Roman or whatever. But I thought moving that forward into what happened last night on Raw is this. The Brock thing, like that was the biggest surprise of the night, or maybe Riddle, I don't know. But Brock turning on Cody was their big Raw after Mania moment, which is not what it should be. But they did such a good job. But as much as we talk about they can't tell a story, and they told such a good story in that short time of why was it Brock who was teaming up with Cody, right? And Roman starts doubting Paul because all the restrictions that Paul put on who it could be, that was a loophole for Brock.
It didn't apply to Brock, yeah.
Right? And so Roman's mad at
but
Brock.
all that time he had in the back pocket. He knew, I'm sure.
Yeah, and so it's like the storytelling there is so good. Like, what are you doing now? I'm with you, Cal. I thought that. I'm thinking I mentioned this last week as you did. I think, and in the text, it's got to be Randy. Randy's going to be the comeback. AEW and WWE have both had this trend of double surprises in the same night. Think back to, I guess it was Daniel Bryan and
Adam Cole
together the same night, right? We've seen this before. And so when Riddle comes out last night, I'm thinking, okay, it may be Randy. I actually thought at the end of the match Sunday, as Solo gets into the equation, maybe Randy is a good spot for him there. I think Randy may still be hurt. We talk about this. Is he healthy or not? I don't know. But I think the storytelling in this thing obviously has been really good. We've talked about that, and it would be dumb to say it isn't. I think they've done a great job. And I think that what they counted on was everybody just thinking it's Mania, it's Cody's moment. Here we are. And in that press conference afterwards, they asked Roman, have you thought about the fact you're going to be at 1,000 days soon? He goes, we've been thinking about 1,000 days 200 days ago. We're looking at 2,000 and 3,000 days. And unfortunately, there's a lot of heat. And this thing could go on for a while. And I think it is Cody at some point. I think otherwise, who else is it going to be? And this may be like you said, Brandon, the beginning of that actual hard times that is storyline and not real life as they blur the lines, a little bit on that. But man, it's such a the match itself was great. The one thing I'll say is you had CB Buckner and Angel Hernandez refereeing the match because you kicked Solo out. Then the match ends. How'd you think he got down there so fast?
Yeah.
I kept thinking, honestly, in my brain that I'm still can't believe Cody doesn't win. I'm thinking we may get a restart here, right? Like surely there's, on a Raw, we know it's going to end at 10 o'clock. So we can kind of look at the clock.
That's Solo's twin brother, YOLO.
Oh, but you know what I'm saying? Like it was almost like that's the part of WWE that people are like, how can you watch this? And I'm like, okay, I get it now, because it's like literally you count to 3, the music starts and Solo sitting there. What were you thinking?
Yeah.
And so that's the, it is what it is. We could talk about that, but I'm with you. I started thinking it's going to be Roman as we got there. I unfortunately, because I'm all in on Cody being the guy when it's time to be the guy, but I thought Roman, and I guess foolish us for not believing the reports or for believing the reports that Roman's getting ready to take some time off. He ain't going anywhere. He's there.
Well, he may take some time off. It's just
like I said last week, he did this last year. He won at Mania. He took both belts at Mania, and then he was off TV for at least a month. He wasn't even at Backlash last year.
Right.
So I think that he will still take time off, but
they were talking about significant time off. They're not talking about, whatever. Thanks, ESPN. You screwed it up for us. Now you're in on it too. But I think everybody kind of had their hopes up that this was going to be the moment, and it would have been a great moment. And I guess we got that on night 1. Why should we expect to get it again on night 2, honestly? But
Roman also said, I did see this at the I want to say post game press conference, but the post WrestleMania press conference.
Mm-hmm.
I did see where he said that we're just in the 3rd inning of this thing. Like there's a lot more layers to this story that we haven't even seen yet, and I believe that.
And that's when Triple H was talking about how it's just a chapter. Like you guys are considering this to be the end of the book. It's not. It's the end of a chapter.
Right.
And yet a lot of things will reset on the Raw after Mania, but it doesn't.
Or so we thought.
Well, the first page of this next chapter sucked.
I
may not watch or read the rest of the chapter if it's going to be like this.
Not only the first page, the forward when Omos walks out. And then Elias, of all people, I thought,
Why? I get starting Raw off with Triple H and then him introducing the tribal chief, which, by the way, Brett, you got to change that video. It's not 600 and something days now. We're at 945.
I know, but that was my reign, not tribal chief.
Oh, okay. But I thought that was a great way to start Raw. I thought the opening segment was good. And then we come back and it's Omos and Elias. I said, for what? For who? Omos just lost the night before. Elias hadn't been doing jack squat with Rick. Boo!
There we go. Hey, I also like the first opening with Triple H until I watched the rest of the show and I realized he was talking out of his rear end.
Yeah, he sold us a bill of goods at the start of the show.
Well, Endeavor might have asked for their money back about 10:30 Central Time last night. They might have said, "Never mind.
Yeah.
We're not doing this."
Well, they need to renegotiate. They need to take all the spots on the board and not give WWE people any.
Well, I think the problem is that Vince can't stand to have somebody do his job better than him. He can't stand to see Triple H book a better show than him. And I don't know if this got lost in the details. I don't know if y'all caught this. Before this Endeavor merger, I'm not gonna call it a sell, it's a merge, because I mean they still own 49% of it. So before this merger, Vince McMahon signed a 2-year employee contract. So they can't get rid of him anyway without a heavy severance. So Vince knew what he was doing when he pulled himself back in.
Pay severance and get him out.
But that's what I'm saying. Vince knew what he was doing. This was Vince's plan the whole time. That load of crock with him saying, with Nick Khan saying that he's just back to facilitate the sale of the company. No, he's not. He's back to take over control. And that's exactly what he's got now. And it's a sad day for WWE to have such a great weekend at WrestleMania.
You know what was
missing? Have all the anticipation for Raw and for it to be a complete dud.
You know what was missing at WrestleMania?
Tell me. Well, I could tell you he won't be on TV as long as Vince is there.
That's another thing that bums me out. Like, I was just kind of getting into this Bray Wyatt, Uncle Howdy, They just kind of started that, and then boop, supposedly he's sick, is what I've heard.
Yeah, but I mean,
sick of Vince.
Sick of Vince.
It's definitely.
If you think back to when Vince retired, the first few Raws after that, we were getting 20-minute matches. The women were going 10 or 15 minutes. Like, it felt different. And then all of a sudden, near the Royal Rumble, things started changing. Things started getting shorter. We started getting more Vinceisms back on the show. I just made that word up, Vinceisms.
I like it.
It's a good one.
We just started getting those back. And then here's what I truly think, that WrestleMania, since it was already kind of built, that was Triple H's last stand. That last night, what we saw was a Vince McMahon show, from medical facility, competitor, everything that happened on that show. Omos being on the show, because when Triple H took over, there was no Omos, there was no Hit Row, there was none of that. And now it's slowly creeping back into the show the more that Vince is taking over.
Speaking of that,
run this
Hit
company.
Row. I miss me some Hit Row.
No,
I love those guys, man.
Are you kidding me?
Triple H is the one that brought them back.
Yeah,
I know he did, but they weren't on the show as much after that.
Vince got rid of them. I mean, Vince didn't want them.
They brought them. Triple H brought them back.
He did because he thought they were going to be something more, but they're not. They're a dud.
I like them. They're entertaining.
Oh, Flop Dollar that can't jump over the top rope. Flop Dollar.
I liked them better with Swerve, but
yeah, they were better with Swerve. I just like their song, and they've got that. They've almost kind of like a Street Profits, but not. They're a little different.
I don't care for Hit Row, but that's just my opinion. But I think this show last night had Vince's handprints all over it. Because if you also remember when Vince retired, Brock walked out. Brock walked out of Madison Square Garden. He said, "I'm not working for nobody but Vince." And all of a sudden, last night, now Brock's in the main event, turning on Cody. That's Vince McMahon all over it. I mean,
and double burden them on the way out.
Double burden them. Yes. Yeah. It's a sad day.
And it's already the time of the year where people kind of lose interest.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. I was thinking today, like, I don't even want to get on and talk about this, because I want to talk about last night. Like, as good as Saturday and Sunday were, last night almost ruined it.
Mm-hmm.
Truthfully, it almost ruined it. And I think it's just going to be more of the same. I don't think it's going to be any different. Unfortunately, thank goodness we have another alternative. Like, I'm being honest. Like, I guess we don't work for WWE, so whatever. But it'll be hard to. I mean, I'll follow it. It'll be on my DVR, and I'll flip through and see if there's anything worth watching. But it's gotten to now where Wednesday night's the night to watch, and I think, as I mentioned this a minute ago, I think it's going to get. If I am a true wrestler, if I'm Daniel Bryan or Claudio or Moxley, I'm trying to get over there, right? Like, I'm trying to get to Wednesday night and be a part of that. And they've got too many people already. But if unless you're one of Vince's boys, like, you're in a bind right now. It could be bad. I just hate to be so negative about it, but it's like, man, like, what in the world is going to happen?
You know what I think the only thing that will make a change, that will start a change, is a locker room revolt in WWE. If the locker room is like, I'm not doing this.
Vince passes away. Oh no, that's a little bit.
Well, but think about this. Vince is so hard-headed, right? Like, anybody who stands up to him or tries to step up and say something is gone.
Fired.
I mean, let's be honest. At the time, we thought the CM Punk thing might have not been real, but everything he said was true, right? And they have no interest in bringing that guy back, and he would do wonders for them if they brought him. I mean, say what you want about CM Punk, whatever show he's on is going to be top. I mean, it's the top thing.
It's much watch TV.
And so you say that, but Vince is liable to go down to NXT. He doesn't care what I'm at the point now where I'm not sure he cares what the quality of his product is anymore. It's going to make money either way. No matter who it is, the kids are going to watch. He's going to sell the shirts.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, that's what I'm saying. The only thing that's going to create change is us not watching the show, not supporting the product, and the locker room turning on Vince. It can't be one or two people, because we've seen how that happens before. You speak out against Vince, you get fired or you get buried on the roster. So it's going to have to be a whole locker room coming together saying, we're not standing for this. This isn't happening.
Well, and they're at a critical time where that TV deal is going to be up soon, right? Like, there was a time when the ratings were really bad. You say that people stopped watching. He didn't care if people weren't watching. It never got better. It got worse as people weren't watching, because he was like, I mean, honestly, you're like, why do I care what I'm putting out there? Nobody's watching anyway. But they got to renegotiate this deal, which is why if they don't go into this Endeavor deal, like, they might have been in trouble with the TV deal coming up, because what they're going to run this thing into the ground is going to be tough for them to make a lot of money. And they're going to be kind of like Pac-12 football. They're not going to have a home. They do.
Did y'all see last night I think it was Wrestle Cage or Cage Mania, somebody put out the ratings for last night's Raw. The lowest rated Raw ever was last night, because people tuned out as soon as they saw all this crap going on.
But I was too dumb to tune out. I sat there and watched the whole thing.
I was part of that. Well, I didn't.
I was part of it too, but
I was behind. But I watched most of it because I was anticipating something happening.
Yeah, you just had to think something was going to happen, and nothing happened except crap.
Yeah, it was a pitiful performance. And then if I'm Endeavor, I'm like, listen, if this is the type of stuff you're going to be putting out, and here's the thing, WWE is they're in the know in what's going on social media. They hear all this. I'm not saying they're listening to us, but they see the tweets. They see what everybody's saying. When you have worst Raw ever trending on Twitter last night, that is not a good sign. So if you're Endeavor, you're looking at like, hey, guys, you got to do better than this. This is unacceptable.
Yeah, you wonder how long they will take that once the merger becomes official and it's all. And I think that's going to take a little bit. I think maybe the summer.
Well, they're saying it could be the end of the year, if not the first of 24.
Yeah, it's going to take. So it'll be interesting once it's official and they're merged. How long does Endeavor put up with that? But I mean, we're going to have to put up with it until then, obviously.
Well, when you spend $12 billion, you put up with a lot of stuff. Like, you don't have a choice, right? Like, you can't just quit on it. And here's the thing is Vince has his contract, but how long, like, surely he can be fired for not doing a good job. I mean, like,
you got to fire him with cause. So to not pay him or pay whatever,
Well, they've had a reason to get rid of him with cause
and
Well,
they haven't done it.
I'll give him a check if you'll go home. You can have it all.
That's what but he won't leave. That's the issue. He's not going to. That's his baby. He's not.
I'll tell you what, we'll double it if you'll go home.
I'll-
But he doesn't need it. He doesn't need it. Think about the paycheck he just got.
Yeah,
He just sold it his part. And he
$9 billion. Yeah,
And the other question is this, and this is way out there, but this sale is going to go through a lot of scrutiny, and they're going to make sure it's all in the up and up. I mean, I'm not saying they're anything illegal or anything, but there's still a chance it doesn't go through, the merger, whatever you want to call it. There's still a chance that there could be some holdups on that too. And if I'm Endeavor, I'm like hoping maybe there is a holdup if it's going to continue to go downhill like that.
And what boggles my mind is who wants to get in bed with WWE with all this controversy surrounding Vince with these hush money payments and using company funds to pay off affairs. Like, that's who you want leading your company? That makes no sense to me why these people are okay with this. Like, how is that okay? I don't get it.
It makes me wonder, Stephanie walked away.
She knew what was coming.
Why hasn't Tripp walked away?
Maybe, I don't know. That's a great question.
Now, how much money did Triple H make in this? Because he had some stake in it. Does he take at some point enough and he just says, I'll go start up my own company?
I think he cares too much about the talents on that roster to walk away. I think
so too.
I think he's there because without Triple H, I think you see a lot more revolt from the talent. But right now with Triple H there, he may be being Papa H right now saying, listen, guys, I know it's bad right now, but just stick with me. Things will get better. I promise. I think he has to be that calming voice. And I think that may be the reason he hasn't walked away. He cares too much about that company and too much about those people that are in the company.
Well, when mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy though.
Yeah, that's a big fact.
I mean, it's just interesting to me that all this has kind of gone on the way it has, and who's walked away and who hasn't, and the fact that his own two kids are not involved at this point. But you have Triple H still involved. I just, man, I don't know. I think that I'm not sure what Endeavor had to gain other than it's all about a TV deal, right? They're trying to put these two things together to get a better deal from some service, which we kind of joked about earlier. We're going to lose our Peacock subscription, getting to watch everything, by the way. That's going to change whenever this all goes down. We're all going to I have a guy, by the way, if you need a service.
I got
to watch
I am a guy. I have it.
So it's going to be interesting. So,
well, it is definitely is. And I was kind of looking at the upcoming events, and there's not really anything. I guess we got the next one would be the Puerto Rico show. Backlash, May 6th will be the next pay-per-view.
Right after Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
Can we get what about is Great Balls of Fire still on the calendar?
I don't see
what about Capital Punishment? Remember that one? That was good.
Yeah. We got Backlash, then we got King and Queen of the Ring in Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
In of course the end of May. So you actually have that one on the 27th, and you also have the AEW one on the 28th. So that's a double header. We might have to do a one big show for those two.
AEW will be the better pay-per-view that week.
I'm going to be honest with you. If WWE didn't improve what they're going to throw out there, I'm out on that one, and I'm all in on.
Well, we just
that
took
may be
one
all
show,
in
so
actually.
maybe we talk. We may only talk 30 minutes on that one, and then move on to AEW.
I'm cool with talking both shows. I'm just saying, out of that weekend, AEW will outperform WWE.
Oh, no
by
doubt.
a long shot.
I mean,
and the storytelling, they will build that up so well, and it'll be so much different. That's the crazy part.
I'm looking forward to the Elite versus the Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah, that should be a good one.
I mean, they're building up to having some kind of blood.
Aren't one of the Bucks hurt again?
Yeah, I heard. I think it was Matt.
I think Matt's hurt again.
Matt tore his bicep or something.
Oh, I thought they were hurt, but I didn't know they were actually hurt.
One of them's kayfabe hurt, and the other one's actually hurt.
They said that going off in the ambulance a few weeks ago was actually to cover him for that night because he actually was hurt. But no, that story will be way better. And anything MJF does, I mean,
sign me up.
As much as I love Cody and even what Roman's doing and Sammy and KO, MJF number one. He's
better than me, and I know it.
And do not come to WWE MJF. Don't do it.
Terrible idea. He would.
By the way,
can you imagine the PG version of MJF?
It would be terrible.
Yeah.
By the way, AEW in Austin, May 17th, I think. Dynamite Rampage. I'm going to make my way down to the Moody Center for that one.
The new Moody Center. I haven't been in that building yet.
I haven't either. It'll be interesting, but that's me and Brandon met up at the last Rampage, and that was in we were in Garland, I guess, for that. But man, I can't even make myself go to a WWE, spend the money to go to a WWE event right now.
Me and my buddy Jeremy, the other Jeremy, the guy I broadcast with, he was we were talking about, we were like, man, when's the next event like for WWE in our area? And we saw that Raw was coming to Fort Worth, I think at the start of May. Yeah. And we were talking about it after last night. I'm good.
Here's the bad news. Full disclosure, I actually have tickets. I didn't buy them. My brother bought them for him and his kid. They have something else going on. He said, do you want them? I was like, sure, I'll take them. And I'm like, they should pay me to go.
Are they good tickets?
In Dickies, there's not a bad spot, really.
Oh, okay.
That place is awesome.
I went and watched an NCAA tournament there last year. It's a great venue for anything. There's no bad seat in there. And I actually looked at the Moody Center. I mean, at Dickies for WWE and Moody Center for AEW, tickets are actually really reasonable. You can sit on the floor at AEW for like $60 at this point.
Really,
pretty close to the ring. Yeah. So,
wow.
Sorry, WrestleMania, you've been upstaged already.
That's been fun.
I know Brandon was the same way. Well, Brandon had better seats at last year's WrestleMania than I did. Me and Jeremy were sitting we were in the nosebleeds, but we were sitting on the side of the stage, so you couldn't even see them until they got like halfway down the ramp.
All you rude folks talking about going to these events.
It was miserable seats.
I didn't get to go. I was wanting to go to the Rumble, and then I got
our seats at Rumble were really good.
I'm sure they were. Thanks for letting me come with you, Kyle.
Look, man,
they got some media passes somewhere. Brett's what I'm thinking.
I need some media passes since I am a media now.
That's what I did for the first Night of Mania last year, and that's what I did for the last AEW I went to.
Yeah, I took two of my son and another kid, and we sat in the seats. But Brandon comes over, talks to me, and he's like, "I'm in the media section." I was like, "Oh, that must be nice." You and Nick Hausman.
It was only like 10 rows in front of you. Like it was the same section, basically.
It really wasn't that bad. You were like Nick Hausman, probably, who, by the way, Triple H and Roman Reigns don't like apparently, but that's a whole other story.
Oh, that was a good clip. He asked him about the was it
Well,
Roman said one more question, and Hausman asked it was a dumb question.
Well, didn't CM Punk call out Hausman too in his?
Yeah, he was. Hausman was the one that stirred up CM Punk. Yeah.
So Triple H walks in and he goes, "Okay, Hausman, you want to get out of the way? You want to ask me the question?" Hausman goes, "Yeah. What about the Endeavor thing? Do you want to talk about it?" And he's like, "No, we're not talking about it. Moving on." I was like, man, poor Nick Hausman. Like this guy, I don't even know this guy, but I feel bad for him right now.
He brings that upon himself, I'm sure.
He looks like he would bring it on upon himself. That's a whole nother story. Sorry, but.
Well, it looks like then we'll probably get together sometime. We'll see what Backlash is going to look like. Maybe get together. Maybe before that one may work out with a preview show again. We'll see how it goes, and if not, we can definitely tell them how bad it was if it is a rough show. Any final thoughts on the weekend of wrestling?
I think Kyle said it best. Saturday and Sunday were great. Ruined by Monday, but just take Saturday and Sunday for what it was. It was it was a great deal, a lot of payoff, and very worth the time invested to watch it on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, I agree. I think this WrestleMania, Brandon said it. I think this WrestleMania was one of the better ones in recent memory. Just from an overall, and we didn't even talk about this, but from the stage and the aesthetics and everything, SoFi looked amazing for WrestleMania. The stage was phenomenal. Just the whole production value that I will say, for as much as we talk bad about WWE, they have one of the best production teams around. I mean, they make it a big event. They make it a big deal. So I enjoyed WrestleMania a lot. It was one of the better ones in recent memory. It's a shame that it was kind of overshadowed. I won't say overshadowed. That's not because it wasn't better. It's just a shame that yesterday happened and it was as bad as it was. You would think that all that momentum they got from the weekend would carry over into Monday and just kind of shoot them off like a rocket. And we just fell off the face of the earth. So disappointed, but I'm going to hold out hope. I'm not going to, maybe Friday will be better. Friday will be a big tell. If Friday is like Monday, we're in a lot of trouble. If Friday's better, then we got something to work with. We'll see.
All right. That's going to do it for this week's episode of Off the Ropes WrestleMania Review. Thanks, everyone, for joining us tonight. For Jeremy, Kyle, and Brandon, I'm Bret. We'll catch you next time right here on the Disrespect Sports Network.
Give it to us, Jeremy. Come on.
We the ones.
Yeah.
Good night, everyone.